This week,
we discuss the 97th Academy Awards hosted by Conan O'Brien.
We review the Longlegs director Osgood Perkins' horror comedy film, The Monkey.
And we examine the recently announced updates to James Gunn's DC Cinematic Universe. My name is Simon Eady.
And I'm Adrian Pinter.
Welcome to Split Focus, a film and TV podcast, episode 105. Adrian, it's time. It's time for 105, my friend.
It's actually 8:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, man. Right now.
Yeah, 8:25 p.m. on a Thursday as we record this podcast. After the tariffs have been begun in Canada and then removed.
Oh, were they already removed? I haven't been paying attention,
Dude,
man.
It's a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster.
I know that I didn't go into the LCBO. I just saw the pictures on the line on the internet. Not sure if you've heard of it. And yeah, like all the American booze is removed from the shelves, from the photographs.
It's definitely strange. It's a strange time. We're not a political podcast. We're not going to really get into that in depth, but it is very irritating, I must say.
God, dude, I've never been more annoyed in my life. It's stupid.
I don't know. I feel like it's going to materially affect both countries in a bad way. It's just a negative way, though.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. There's no winners here at all. I don't think there's any winner at all. I'm just shocked that they would even bother, or the one man in particular would bother. One man with, silvery blonde hair.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, Putin.
Yeah, right. Sure. Whoa. What are you trying to say? But yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy. For those who don't know, we're in Canada. I should have said that. I'm sure there's one person listening to this that doesn't know, because the rest of the people that are listening to this podcast, Split Focus, a film and TV podcast, are probably people we know. The one person who just tuned in for a second is like from Norway, and they're like, what the hell are they talking about? We're in Canada and we're being tariffed by the US government. Although I feel like most of the world knows about the tariffs at this point, because it's just been highly publicized. But yeah, hopefully this doesn't happen in the end, because I think they were removed somewhat, and I don't know, there's talk of them being added again in April. I'm not sure. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's almost like they don't know what they're doing.
Almost.
It's almost.
It almost seems like they're just winging it.
Yeah,
just a little bit. It seems like it's a bit of improv, just a tad.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Like part of this podcast.
I'm just throwing that out there,
Yeah.
Hot take.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this podcast. That's right. The thing is so there's we have like this tension between Canada and the United States right now, or some would call it the United States. But you don't even get that. I just see your face. You don't even know what I'm referencing. Anyway, regardless of that, there's tension obviously between Canada and the US, but I'm literally going to the US. No, not sexual. Definitely not sexual. I'm going to the US in like a few hours, and I'm going to Florida, which sucks. I don't want to go, but I have to go on a work trip. I don't want to go because there's obviously tension between the two countries, and I don't want to give them any fuel. Like, oh, look at all the people that are coming to Canada from Canada to the United States. I don't want, but it's a work trip and I have to go. And so I am going in like literally a few hours. My flight leaves at 7. So I'm basically doing this podcast at 8 p.m. I'm going to edit the podcast immediately after. I'm going to get in my car and then get to the airport and then take the plane to Florida. I'm not going to drive it.
You're going to take it.
No, I'm not doing that.
You're going to take it in your luggage. You're taking the plane in your luggage on your way to Florida.
I appreciate the childlike joke you went with, and not a more serious one. So I thank you for doing that. But anyway, I'm going to get on a plane and I'm going to get to Florida, and then I'm going to take an Uber to the place from Orlando to a place like 2 hours away at some resorts. And then I'm going to, within like 4 hours of that, I'm like in an awards ceremony. And then after the award ceremony, it'll be like 10 p.m. It's going to be hectic. It's going to be a hectic couple of hours, I guess 12 hours, 24 hours. I'm not even sure. Yeah. It's a lot. It's gonna be a lot. That's what's going on with me.
I agree, man. And honestly, like, I mean, not to give you any anxiety, but like, I wouldn't want to be on a plane right now.
Oh, thanks a lot.
with all the shit that's been going down. Literally, like a plane landed upside down at Pearson like a week and a half ago or whatever that was.
Toronto Pearson, the airport in Toronto. Yeah. We live outside of Toronto in Guelph, Ontario. For those wondering, that one viewer who may have already left the Norwegian.
You know what?
Individual.
Let's hope that there's no DEI involved in whoever's piloting your plane or whatever the excuse is.
Dude, you read my mind. Or part of the towers, the people waving down the plane.
Yeah, there better not be a single gay there, or else.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and it's unbelievable. It's an unbelievable time we live in, Adrian. It is really crazy. It's a crazy time.
Everything's normal. Everything's fine.
Speaking of everything, everything's completely normal. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of normal and fine, remember last week we started talking about food for a while. About half the podcast was about food and restaurants.
Was that last week? I don't think so. Was it?
2 weeks ago, I guess. I think that was last episode. Whatever, doesn't matter. Anyways, Jersey Mike's took the place of Berger's Priest. They are reopening the Berger's Priest. They're opening it up on Clare Road.
They've decided? Are you sure? Because I've looked into this and I didn't find that was
my
true.
fiance just mentioned it literally an hour ago.
Oh, wow.
So I guess she saw it, which is unfortunate that it's opening on Clare Road because they already have a Five Guys there. I do prefer Berger's Priest over Five Guys personally, but it is just like, why are you having two really good burger places on like the one end of town? Right. And Five Guys is going to eat Berger's Priest, the priest of burgers lunch, I presume. I don't know for sure.
Presumably a burger at lunch.
Yeah.
You know? But
you'd hope so.
Five Guys is very popular. Yeah, it's too bad. I think Berger's Priest is superior, I must say. I do like Five Guys, but the fact that they closed down, like Berger's Priest closed down because of arguably poor, I was going to say viewership, which is not the word. Poor sales. Thank you. It leaves some tension in my brain. It needs some worry, some anxiety that they might not stay open because I do like Berger's Priest. My brother thinks that Five Guys is terrible.
That's crazy. Five Guys is really good. Is it a little much? Is it a little expensive? Most definitely. Is it good? Most definitely.
He thinks it's just like for people who don't go to cottage country, because you know the chip trucks in like the cottage country, you can go to like the chip truck. He thinks that the Five Guys is basically just a chip truck, and chip trucks are kind of overrated. So that's kind of his thought.
Oh, interesting thought. I don't know, man. I disagree.
I like it. I like both.
Yeah,
for different reasons.
You can like both. You can like two things.
Yeah, I know.
Things can be nuanced. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Things can be nuanced.
Although the internet doesn't seem to believe that, but yes.
No.
For sure.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Adrian, I made a mistake last week, and I just want to set the record straight. We haven't had too many corrections. Either that's because we just didn't notice, or probably because we didn't notice. Or it could also be because we're not taking write-ins anymore, and Kenneth Stadelbauer always wrote in with mistakes that we've made. Oh, geez Louise, I forgot to check to see if Kenneth Stadelbauer wrote into us. Oh, no.
Open it up. Open up the email.
He didn't. I did open it just before we started, but I forgot to look at it. Okay. I was waiting for it to load. Gmail was taking forever, so I turned away. Anyway, no, he didn't write into us. Anyway, he didn't write into us, but I do have a correction. I talked last week, we talked about Captain America, Brave New World. Mm-hmm. When we talked about that movie, we didn't love it. There was a lot of problems with it, we found, but we also we talked about how certain directors in the Marvel Cinematic Universe canon, the directors that Kevin Feige tapped to make movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe from the first few phases were typically they were surprising sometimes, but you can kind of see why they were chosen, and then they would always succeed. It seemed like they would succeed every time. It was very rare that a director would falter. Like, I guess Thor 2 was kind of a falter. Thor the Dark World was kind of not.
The Dark Thor.
Yeah, Thor the Dark Thor. Didn't do so well. But Peyton Reed, I mentioned Yes Man specifically. I'm like, Yes Man was a good movie. I like that movie. Now, I do like that movie. I'm not correcting that I don't like the movie. I like it. The thing is, I checked after because I was like, wait, maybe Yes Man isn't rated that well on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, I'll take this score with a grain of salt because I also say that I feel like comedies in general don't do well on Rotten Tomatoes. And I don't know exactly Why that is, I guess comedy is more of an acquired taste than drama. It must be, just based on
it is very
Rotten Tomatoes scores.
subjective. I feel like it's more subjective than a lot of things.
I suppose I kind of find that I like most comedy though. There's like, it's very infrequent that I don't like comedy movies or TV shows but I don't know. Maybe that's not true. I guess maybe I'm trying to think about what I didn't like. I typically can see the value in most of them. Like you didn't like Sausage Party. I was just thinking about that.
Yeah.
And that's actually really reviewed quite well, actually, in contrast to what I'm talking about. But anyways, Yes Man, the movie with Jim Carrey, where I referenced it as he sings in the window with a guitar. That movie is a 45% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it's actually not well reviewed. Mm-hmm. So I was talking about it like, oh, look, they got Peyton Reed because he did a great job with Yes Man, but that was a really bad example. A better example would have been Coogler. Ryan Coogler? Is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ryan? Yeah, who directed Creed before he did Black Panther. And then when he did Black Panther, he came off of Creed and like the momentum kind of carried with him. But he didn't do that many things before that. The point is that Joss Whedon did Firefly and all these TV shows, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which were huge hits. And then he got tapped to do Avengers. And it's kind of almost surprising because they're not that similar, but you can see how they're similar. But those shows were hit shows. James Gunn did hit cult classics. Then he got tapped and he did a great job. The point is that Julius Onah, the director of Captain America: Brave New World, doesn't necessarily have the best track record, especially with anything with like comedy adjacent, I guess. And so it didn't necessarily do so well. Mm-hmm. Maybe because he was not confident going in. Maybe the Marvel Cinematic Universe in general, Kevin Feige and team, are not confident right now because they've had a couple of blunders, or not blunders, but like a little bit of tiny marks against them. Whereas before it seemed like they could do no wrong. They had such a crazy hot streak. Now going into these movies, they're like kind of timid. They're a little scared. It's scared to
50-50.
Swing for the fences.
I feel like now it's like, oh, is it going to be really great, or is it just going to be kind of middling or disappointing or not that great?
Yeah.
And we're kind of in this awkward stage. But I mean, we talked about it in depth last week, you know, how we felt about Captain Falcon and Brave Leaves the Nest, whatever the fuck.
Wait, what?
We've been calling
Are you talking about the show now or the movie?
The movie.
Now it's getting confusing. Okay.
Yeah. Captain America, Brave Leaves the Brave Falcon, whatever. Yeah. You know what we're talking about.
And he's a Falcon.
But I don't know. I like we were talking a little bit about Thunderbolts. I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit positive on that. I'm feeling a little bullish. Is it going to be good? I think so.
It looks good.
Yeah,
it looks good, and it's from Jake Schreier, right? Beef.
That seems right.
Beef director. I keep getting either the first name or the last name wrong. Oh no! Oh yeah, it's Jake. It's Jake. I thought it was not Ryan Coogler either. It is Jake Schreier who directed Beef. So that show, very good. I will say.
It's great.
Very good show. Very good show. And Jake Schreier's episode of Skeleton Crew, one of my favorite episodes of that entire show so far. I've almost finished it.
Oh, are you not done it?
No, did you finish it? Is that why you're asking that question? Oh, did you start it?
I haven't watched it.
Oh, you haven't watched it?
I haven't even started. I was telling you I was in a little bit of a Star Wars mood post Andor.
Right.
So I played Jedi Survivor, like the PlayStation 5 game, and I finished that, and I was like, I'm not really in the mood for Star Wars anymore.
It's a good game. It's not technically good. Like on a technical level, it falters.
Yeah, the story is all right as well. Like I liked it. I like the characters. It feels like a middle part of a game. Like it kind of ends like without much climax. So I mean, like I'll play the next one eventually. Whenever that inevitably releases, and a few years after that, because I ain't ever buying one of their games at launch. I mean, I got this game for free, and I still felt kind of like annoyed. Free with subscription, just because of the technical hiccups. But I mean, I am, again, we don't talk about video games much, but like we talk about bringing in more nuanced opinions, right? Into this show, and I've been playing Dragon Age: The Veilguard, which was. Critically actually did quite well. Commercially did not.
On Metacritic.
Yeah. Commercially did not. And, when you hear the online ruckus about it, everyone's like, this game sucks. And it doesn't. It's actually pretty damn good. I'm really enjoying it. Yeah. I'm really enjoying it.
Thank you. I thank you. Because I've been saying this for a while. I didn't play it, but I had a strong feeling that it was way better than people were saying. Because you walk around town. I work in, again, a retail adjacent job. I work with, like, in some capacity with a video game company. And so I walk around and I talk about video games all the time. And I hear people saying all the time, like, oh, Dragon Age The Veilguard, not good. Not good, not good. I'm like, have you played it? No, I haven't played it. I'm like, okay, you're just spreading this opinion. Okay, cool. Next person. And then the next person says the same thing. Oh, not good, not good. I'm like, okay, interesting. You don't like it either. And then I finally found someone who played it, and they're like, I love it, by the way. Unpopular opinion, but I love it, they say. And I'm like, yeah, because I don't think it's as bad as it is. What's happening is there's specific clips that are very, very, I guess, quote unquote, woke. And therefore, those clips are floating around the internet. Yeah, on every social media, TikTok, over and over again, and that's the only thing anyone ever sees, and that's what they hate. And I'm gonna assume you're about to say the writing's not perfect, but
yeah, like it isn't. Like I haven't gotten to that point where I haven't even met that character yet. In my playthrough, I guess they come in a little later, and I mean, again, I've seen that clip, and it is a poorly written, like 3 minutes. Like it's just like it's so poorly executed. I find watching that.
Right.
And it's like I really like the Dragon Age series, and they've always been very open, like very progressive. Like, you know, in Inquisition, which is like the one prior to this, came out.
Which one Game of the Year in 2014?
In 2014, like over a decade ago. But there's literally like a party member who is gay, and like he's like a mage, and his and part of royalty, and then his parents, you know, find out that he's gay and they can't marry him off to a woman. So they send him to essentially like a gay conversion therapy camp that like mages go into your mind. So like they've touched on this, but it was done so elegantly and fantastically, realistically. Whereas like when I've seen those clips circling, they just, not well written, but so far in the game, again, I'm about 10, 12 hours in, give or take a bit. I'm really like, I'm having a good time. Again, the writing's not perfect. There are little things that kind of annoy me about some parts. Like in previous games, you can give like your party members a gift. And like, usually there's like some dialogue back and forth and, oh, like this is sentimental to me because of this. But in this one, you literally walk up to your party members and it's like, oh, thank you. And that's it. That's like a brief cutscene. Okay. And I'm like, oh, so little things like that annoy me.
The extra work they didn't put in.
Yeah, it's far from bad, dude. Far from it, and it's quite fun.
The
it's
hair
quite
physics,
engaging.
man. The hair physics is crazy. I saw some hair physics, the hairography. I could say it's crazy how the hair strands are so individual. It's crazy. Yeah. That's like looks like the best hair in video games. I must say,
it's a beautiful game,
or not, but it looks
a beautiful
great.
game.
It does
on PS5 Pro.
And it's polished for PS5 Pro, right?
Yeah, exactly. The art style is a little bit jarring, like coming from the other Dragon Age games. There's a weird, like almost airbrush effect on every person's face. Everyone's complexion is like oddly clear, which is it throws me off a bit because you know in the previous games, like there are people that like, you know, like it doesn't look perfect, but everyone is like airbrushed to shit, and so it's a little jarring. But I don't know, it does a lot of cool things. Again, we're not a video game podcast, so I don't really want to stay on this too long. But like I will
just say, on the nuance perspective, it's kind of sad what happened to this game because you didn't buy it at launch, probably because of all the negative hype you heard about it, and you got it for free on PlayStation Plus. The Essential tier gave you that free game. I got it for free too. I'm not a big Dragon Age guy, so I'm not going to play it for that reason. There's nothing to do with the hype, the negative hype, because I had a strong feeling it was way better than it is, but nobody bought it. So like I think 1 million people bought it or something like that. So
I think less because they said like 1 point something million players, and you can get it with like subscriptions and stuff
for EA Play. With EA Play, it might be free with Game Pass with EA Play. I'm not sure how that works.
I don't know.
Xbox. Regardless of that, that's pretty sad because there's a full team that worked on this, and all this negative talk about it kind of just killed it. It's like it kind of sucks. Like it's just shit. And you didn't buy it because you couldn't cut through it. It's hard to cut through the internet's like this is bad. I'm worried about Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet, the Neil Druckmann directed Naughty Dog game, which is like we don't know if they're even going to make another The Last of Us now. But this is the next game from Naughty Dog, which is super exciting. And there's so much negative hype on the internet about it. Although Naughty Dog has a much better track record than BioWare, who makes Dragon Age. So theoretically it will be better perceived by the vast audience out there. But anyway.
I mean, to give you a quick correction, Simon, like I didn't not buy it because of the negativity.
Yeah.
I didn't buy it at the time because I had a bunch of other games on the go.
Oh yeah.
Like
but
I was playing like
imagine
Metaphor and a bunch of that stuff.
But just imagine a world in which it was a 95, maybe a 90% on Metacritic. Or it wasn't even what the score is now, but you heard a bunch of people just praising it. You might have chosen that was your next game you buy. You didn't buy it at all. You never bought it. Think about that. You might have played off, like you played Metaphor Refantasio, which is a great game, 90% on Metacritic, and it literally almost won Game of the Year. And so, because it was nominated. But then after that, you then buy Veilguard because you're like, I know I have to get to this, right? Because you have the hype to buy it. Because if you purchased it, there is a difference than getting it for free. Everyone got it for free who has PlayStation Plus. That's what I mean.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I had Metaphor on the go, and then I think it was like almost Black Friday-ish time. By the time I was kind of getting done, I was like, oh, I'll wait for sales, and then other games went on sale for more substantial discounts. I was like, okay, I'll get that. Veilguard, I'm sure will go on sale eventually again, and then it went on sale, but I was playing other stuff, and then all of a sudden it's free. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I don't have to buy, but I almost bought it like online, like for like $30, and I just didn't. It was like on this auction site that I use. Right. And I just didn't win. It's not eBay. It's like a different thing. But anyways, I digress. Yeah, I digress. Yeah. Nuance.
Yeah. The world is lacking it right now. That's for sure. But yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right, buddy. Let's get on to the quick bite news. The quick bite news of the film and TV industry, my friend.
Let's do it.
The first topic is a huge one. And I don't want to make this podcast go on all night. So I'm going to try to be quick with it. Mm-hmm. It's very strange. Last week we had our topic of the show be the James Gunn, Peter Safran, DC Universe, Warner Brothers' new approach to trying to do the DC Universe in film, TV, and potentially also somehow connected video games. And then right after that, I don't know if you saw this, but there was an article that literally came out where basically it's not really an article. It was a presser. There was a presser that Gunn and Safran were at with a bunch of like the Variety folks and the people at Deadline, these publications. And they started to talk about what their next plans are because it had been 2 years since they had announced all of these projects with that James Gunn initial like 7-minute like teaser of what's coming for the DC universe. So like basically what we were saying wasn't moot, but it was kind of completely like the edge was taken out of it. So I'm basically going to go through the concepts of what they talked about in that. And then we can just briefly talk about them as we go. Is that something?
Okay. Sounds great, man.
All right. So here it is. The first thing is, this is a crazy thing, I think. Their plan is to release 2 live action films per year, 1 animated film per year, 2 live action series per year, and 1 animated series per year. That's pretty crazy. That's a lot.
Yeah. That's a little bit too much. It's especially crazy considering we're seeing that like a lot of people equate Marvel's decline into the excess of TV and movie all coming out. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like all a lot of people are equating to that, right? So it's almost like DC again is a little bit behind, and they're not learning from other people's mistakes.
Yeah, they're backward thinking here a little bit maybe, but I don't know if that's true though. I think that if you made good products, if you made good art in these stories and you told a good story, then you wouldn't have that issue. People would potentially go see it. Like I have yet to see a Marvel movie that's like a 90 on Rotten Tomatoes that just doesn't sell. That hasn't happened. Not that I'm recalling anyway. It's typically the movie is not reviewed well. Like the best example is Captain America: Brave New World. Like it just didn't. People aren't seeing it as much, which we'll talk about a little bit later, because of the fact that it didn't review that well. I think that's what kind of happened. Definitely. So it's like a negative hype. So we'll see what happens. But James Gunn and Peter Safran's passion for this is cool. This is what they said actually. To talk about what they also said at the presser, they said Peter Safran specifically said, "quote." The DC brand was being defined by different creative teams at the company, and each was pursuing their own distinct vision of the characters, the stories, and it left very little room to collaborate or cross over. So it wasn't one DCU, but many, Safran said. Then he goes on to say, ultimately, this fracture proved very challenging for consumers and chipped away at the very identity of our brand. So this in part is what brought us to DC Studios. bringing a sense of unity, cohesion, consistency to this universe. Not only making it... Oh, wait, what? I feel like this is written badly, but I took this right from Deadline. Anyway,
yeah, I was reading the article as well. There's a couple moments where I'm like, wait, what the fuck? And I had to reread the lines a couple times. It's not you.
It's weird because it's a quote. I think they should have reread their own transcription of the quote. But anyway, consistency of this universe not only makes sense to us as storytellers, but it has to be the future of the DC brand. People want to see these iconic characters interacting. They want to experience this timeless IP as one. That's a cool idea. Mm-hmm. I will say that before I throw it to you. I will say, though, it's not just about making it one, but also making it independently great in each individual TV show and movie. That's the thing that Kevin Feige said near the beginning, I think, of the MCU being successful. And so I hope that's what they figure as well in the end. But I do think that, based on another quote that I'm going to read soon, that I think that they do... Actually, not a quote that I was going to read soon. That was a quote from the other thing. The first thing 2 years ago in 2023, when James Gunn did that presentation, he said that it's really all about the stories, and that's all that matters is the storytelling. If the storytelling is not good, then it's not good.
Yeah,
that's the main focus of making a good universe, is actually just telling each story and the overall story in a good way. That the stories is what matters. So that I agree. But
yeah, definitely.
That was what he said before. But yeah, anything to add to that?
No, not really. I agree with your outlook on that.
Cool. Gunn also hinted at an Avengers level event project when he said, although this is not really related to an Avengers level event, this quote, but he said specifically, quote, "I know what my basic plan is over the next 6 years," unquote. That, to the Deadline reporter, they thought that meant that he meant that in 6 years we're going to have a Avengers level event, I assume a Justice League type movie, but I don't know what indicated that. Yeah, well, maybe not. Maybe something random. Okay, before we get into the projects that are happening and the updates on them, the last thing Peter Safran said that I thought was important was he said everything that David Zaslav, the Warner Brothers Discovery president and CEO, promised us 2 years ago when we took the job, it's all been a reality since we've been in the job, unquote. That is super important because we talked about maybe there'd be studio meddling. I still think that if Superman fails, there'll be studio meddling.
Oh, definitely.
So good luck to you. But it doesn't look like it's going to fail just based on the trailer. The trailer looks great.
Yeah. Unless it's like a total dog shit movie. Like it can just be totally serviceable and good. And I think it's going to do huge numbers. I'm more positive on it though. Like I think it's going to do very well.
Yeah,
because it beat records, right? It's the most watched Warner Brothers trailer of all time, like in the shortest amount of time, something like that.
Something like that. Within a short span of time, it was watched a tremendous amount. Yeah, I'm a little fuzzy on the dog, but anyway,
I like the dog. I like the
dog, but it's just like, what is this? What is the tone here? I'm just like questioning what's the tone. There's a lot of characters also being introduced all at once. There's a Green Lantern in there, played by Nathan Fillion. There's a lot going on. That's the question I have, is like, can you manage all of this, but also manage to not be completely jokey tone like his past movies in the MCU as an example, Guardians of the Galaxy, and then his DC current properties that James Gunn was directly a part of, being Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad, not Suicide Squad, but the Suicide Squad, which are both kind of a jokey and tone. And they're very, what's that?
And Creature Commandos as well.
Creature Command, perfect example. Again, the very misfit movies, kind of like road movie type things or TV shows where everyone's just joking around in a large way. It gets serious. There's emotional tone there, but it's still different to be a Superman movie. So I'm so curious about. But the music in that trailer, the overall trailer presentation was great. Doesn't mean that the movie's going to be good, but I think it was good. I think the dog is like an indicator for me. Is like, do you need the dog? Like, you got a lot of characters. How do you also introduce this dog? How does the dog have superpowers? What's going on in this universe? There's just a lot going on as the introductory movie. That's my
opinion. I think at a certain point you just don't have to explain everything. Like I think we're going into this universe and it's very clearly been around for many years. There's heroes about. I don't think they're going to be like, oh, Crypto came from a meteor from Krypton when it fell, and he's, they met
together.
But like,
Maybe
I
they'll
don't
do
think
that.
they might, who knows? And it's going to be the best part of the movie because it's going to be like the sad part where it's this lonely dog looking for a friend until he meets Clark Kent,
Right.
and everyone's going to be crying in the theater being like, oh, this poor little dog. And then he's like, oh my God, I just met my best friend. Actually, he should do that. I just made an entire idea.
Yeah. Take the idea, James Gunn. Reshoot the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't even have to reshoot it. Just add in those scenes.
Right. Just
like a dog bark.
Yeah. Wouldn't they still consider that reshoots though if they have to shoot that and then add it into the movie?
Yeah, probably.
Returning for reshoots. Anyway.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But
all right, buddy. Let's quickly, swiftly get through what they said about the actual projects and where they're at. First of all, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is still coming June 26th, 2026. And it's meant to be directed by I, Tonya director Craig Gillespie. That's a pretty big name.
Mm-hmm. It's a great movie, I, Tonya is.
DCU thing. Yeah. And then we also have a Clayface movie coming September 11th, 2026. Strange date to have a movie launch.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder. Anyway, quick interruption here. I'm very curious if this Clayface movie is actually a part of like like DC universe proper, like this ongoing thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Or if it's going to be separate. And the reason I ask this is because of Creature Commandos and certain things that are referenced in it.
So Creature Commandos is a part of it.
No, I'm aware. And
it's not Elseworlds, which is like the Batman.
I know.
You think Clayface may be related to like Batman? No,
Clayface, like Clayface is directly referenced in Creature Commandos.
Oh,
yeah. So and I'm just curious, like based on
why would they do that though? That's so silly. Like, why would you even draw your attention to it? Like, you have too many Elseworlds things. Everything is Elseworlds. Like, don't do any more Elseworlds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I follow you. So I'm just curious how they're gonna do it.
Yeah. This is directed by Mike Flanagan.
I don't know. No,
No, directed by Speak No Evil director. Oh, I'm so sorry. I got the wrong name here. Mike Flanagan is the dude from Fall of the House of Usher. Why did I know his name?
Haunting Hill House. Hush.
Yeah. Do you have that guy's name? Do you have the guy's... Because
James
the guy is Speak No Evil. Yeah. Speak No Evil director, James Watkins. Yeah. I had Mike Flanagan here twice, and I was like, what's going on? I just copied and pasted the wrong name. Mm-hmm. Anyway. Yeah. Did you watch that, Speak No Evil?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Did you like it?
The James McAvoy one.
Yeah, where it seems to be some kind of child abuse.
Yeah, I did watch it. It's pretty good.
Okay, good.
It's a fun movie.
Cool.
No, it's not that fun, but it's a good time. It's a thrilling movie. Yeah. It's a thriller. Yeah. Okay. I watched that.
Interesting.
I think I watched that with my mom and my sister and my fiance. We did like a movie day because my mom really likes James McAvoy.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah, she loves him as an actor.
Oh, all right. Sounds good. Okay. They also have a writer that should not be named for pressure reasons. I don't know if you read this for the Batman
Brave and the Bold,
Brave
right?
And the Bold. And Andy Muschietti will be the first one to read the script from this unnamed writer because they're worried that if they say the name of the writer, the pressure will be on and they won't be able to write the rest of the script, which, okay, sure. And apparently the main kind of plot point they're going off for this Batman, the Brave and the Bold story is that Batman doesn't know that he actually has a son. That's the premise. Like Damian Wayne. Damian Wayne? Damian Wayne.
Damon Wayans is that actor that you're thinking of?
I didn't say Wayans. I said Wayne. I said Damon Wayne. Okay? It's Damian Wayne. Anyway, regardless of that, that's interesting. I wonder who the writer is. But Andy Muschietti might not direct it, though. I got that impression from that. I don't know if you kind of got that impression as well. It looks like Andy Muschietti will read the script, and then he'll determine if he wants to do it.
Yeah. He just proofreads it. He's the proofreader at Warner Bros. That's all he does. Yeah.
Yep, there's no Oxford comma here. Yeah. Added. That's it. Okay. The next one they talked about, or I don't know what order this is in, but this is the order of the Deadline article. They also talked about the Challenger's writer Justin Kritzky's writing a script for the Sergeant Rock movie.
Challenger's a writer, you said.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay,
and then you got the Luca Guadagnino,
the director of that movie.
Is also the director of Challengers. Correct.
Yeah.
The team that made Challengers, the writer and director, are apparently writing the Sergeant Rock movie. Was supposed to have, theoretically, Daniel Craig in it, but that he bailed out now, so he's not doing that. But yeah, it's supposed to be like a World War II set movie. And it's supposed to shoot really soon, like this summer. So that's happening. That's well on its way, which is cool. We were kind of negative on our podcast this week. We were talking about how they don't have anything together. But now that's what was funny. We launched this. I think even our episode launched a day after they announced that they have a lot together. So anyway, the next thing they talked about, another thing they talked about, was the Swamp Thing movie that is still happening, but they're not completely sure what's going on with that because James Mangold kind of holds all the cards. James Mangold is supposed to direct it. Director of Logan and A Complete Unknown, which was just nominated for Best Picture. And then, I don't know if you have anything to say about that. Just stop me if you do. Put your hand up. It's like, hey, buddy. Oh, you do have something to say. What do you have to say?
No, I don't. I was just showing you an example.
Okay, cool. There's a Teen Titans film from Anna Nogueira apparently being made. But she doesn't written that much else, to be honest. So it's not really much to say about that. I don't know. I don't really have a good connection with Teen Titans. I think it's kind of silly. So I
love Teen Titans. That. Like the old like Teen Titans TV show.
Sure, you like it? Sweet.
Yeah, I loved all that. I never watched Teen Titans Go, but like I watched the original. What is it? 3 seasons? Aired on YTV here in Canada.
Right. Wasn't there a TV show? A CW live action TV show. Obviously, it was a TV show.
Yeah, I don't know if that was CW though, or if it was like because like Doom Patrol, it was connected to the Doom Patrol thing, and I don't think that was technically on CW. I think it's like a.
Didn't it star like Ian Glenn from like Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones, yeah, he was in it. He played the Batman in there.
Batman, which is really cool. I like Ian Glenn a lot. He's in Silo. He's excellent.
Yeah. No, but I think it aired on like HBO Max at the time. Like it was like a streaming thing. Because I remember like when they released that first teaser.
You mean Max?
Whatever the fuck. Yeah, who cares?
What a bad marketing decision. I every time I think about it, I'm like, what the hell are you thinking? HBO literally holds weight. It's gravitas. Anyway.
I feel like everyone still calls it Max or HBO Max, but whatever.
They do because it's so stupid and why would you do that? But why would you? I don't know. That's so dumb. Anyway.
Because
so are you still looking up like the Teen Titans thing?
These Teen Titans, they swear. Because the trailer, the first one, it's Dick Grayson. He's like, fuck Batman. Or whatever.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you remember. I watched the first season of that. It was fine. It was fine. It was an HBO Max show. I was correct.
Okay. Good for you.
Yeah. Thank you. It was good for me.
Yeah. Okay, so The Authority, that movie The Authority with superheroes I'm not familiar with at all. That apparently is still happening, but it got delayed. Mm-hmm. There's apparently ideas that they've used in other movies, like the Superman Legacy movie, and they kind of overlap in weird ways, but they're trying to they just keep kind of correcting the script to make it work in the DCU. But who knows when that's coming? Peacemaker is obviously launching in August. So getting onto the TV shows. The Waller series was affected by writer strikes, but it's still happening apparently. The Lantern series we talked about, and that was pretty accurate when we talked about it last week, or the last bye week, I guess. The Lantern show is coming apparently early 2026, the plan. The Penguin series, like the Penguin season 2, is may or may not happen. It completely depends on Colin Farrell apparently, or at least half depends on Colin Farrell and whether they have a good idea for it. The Themyscira Game of Thrones style HBO series, like Wonder Woman's Home Island, is supposed to be kind of like Game of Thrones. That was in the works, but it is delayed. And then the Booster Gold, I think it's a show then. It's a show. The Booster Gold show, they changed showrunners apparently. They had somebody who had working on it, or they really wanted to work on it, and then that person bailed, and then they picked up another showrunner apparently. I thought that Booster Gold was going to be played by Kumail Nanjiani. I had a strong feeling that was what was happening.
Interesting.
Because Kumail, so Superman, apparently, it seems like, unless you know of Kumail's role in Superman, it's weird. So at the Olympics, when they were filming the Superman movie, the Olympics last summer, I think they're filming up, they're wrapping filming of Superman. And Kumail Nanjiani was with the cast of Superman at the Olympics together with James Gunn.
Oh.
I think James Gunn was there too, but they had a lot of the different cast members there. Like I think Nathan Fillion was there. Like David Cornsweet was there, the guy who plays Superman. And they had a bunch of these guys there, but Kumail was there. I'm like, that's interesting. And so I thought, who would Kumail be playing? But I get this impression that Kumail Nanjiani would play a really great Booster Gold, from what I understand of who Booster Gold is. Like he's just like this egotistical guy. He's got like futuristic tech, and he comes from the future to the past and pretends he's like this really powerful guy. He's just like, he's full of shit, which is cool. But Kumail plays really great full of shit characters, I feel like, when he does them. So anyway, that's cool.
I can see that.
But I don't know. I thought it was going to be Nathan Fillion, honestly. Just based on the initial photo, but Nathan Fillion is obviously playing a pompous Green Lantern. So
I feel like that was fan casting from like decades ago, like Nathan Fillion as Booster Gold. Maybe not decades.
Dude, this guy gets fan casted in so many things that seem like they're perfect for him. And honestly, they are perfect for him, but then he never gets casted in them, even though they seem perfect. I'm like, what has this guy done? He's also a comic book nerd a little bit. He likes these types of things. He likes video games. He likes these types of comic booky things too. And he just doesn't like, the best example of that would have been, of course, Uncharted. He was fan casted for years as Nathan Drake. And then they literally did a fan film made by a fan that was great, by the way, like a short film, like 15 minutes long, 12 minutes long. And he's great in that, but he's just too old, I think, at this point. But at the time when people fan casted him, he wasn't too old. Just no one wanted to cast him. It was very strange. I really still don't understand that. And then I think for me, that fan short film, that kind of legitimized to me in my mind that he's perfect for that role, and they just missed the opportunity because they're just fools. But anyway, they're being foolish with their casting, regardless. But yeah, the last thing here, a Blue Beetle animated series is apparently happening from the Blue Beetle movie director, Angel Manuel Sota. Not necessarily interested in that, but I didn't see the Blue Beetle movie. Did you?
No. I think it's on Netflix here in Canada. It just got
reviewed very well, though.
Yeah,
that is reviewed very well.
Again, but this is another one of those, like, it just kind of adds to the confusion. Like, is that movie actually connected to this universe?
This does add to the confusion.
Yeah, I agree. It's like there's so much going on.
I love it. So I read that quote at the beginning that it was Peter Safran saying, like, the DC brand, whatever, there was too many creative teams working on it and they weren't cohesive, and we're trying to make this timeless IP is one. Like, that's cool, dude, but why is there so much confusion? Like, that's a great example. The Blue Beetle movie, we don't seriously know if that is even connected. Yeah. And you didn't really make the lines clear. Like, there should be like a website that just shows you this is included, this is not. Or this is included in the current timeline, because I'm sure they're going to do a multiverse at some point, and just show that off, and that's it. Just make it clear. It's not that hard, in my opinion.
I agree.
The other thing I'm curious about is how the video games are going to be connected. I did want to just throw a shout out here because I really like Monolith, the game studio that just got shut down. Warner Brothers Games has not got their shit together, from my perspective, at least from a fan's perspective. I think they're not doing a great job. I don't think it has to do with the head of Warner Brothers, although people keep attributing to that. We listened to a podcast and they were attributing recently, like, actually two people attributed in two different versions of that same podcast network. They're like, David Zaslav's fault. It's David Zaslav's fault. I'm like, I don't think so. I don't know where you're getting that from, because David Zaslav didn't greenlight instead of another Batman game, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. As much as Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is not a bad game from our perspective, having played it, you and I.
Yeah, we haven't played it in a while. We should get back to that.
I know we should do that. I like it, and I really want to finish it so I have a good perspective on it, because from my perspective, playing it for 6-7 hours with you, I think it's actually quite good. The problem with it is these kind of live service games are all about microtransactions, and this is not what fans really like. You gotta, if you're gonna do microtransactions, you gotta really sneak them in. I think that's the only way that anyone's gonna like it. And if you're gonna use an old hat, like amazing studio like Rocksteady, who's made the Arkham series, Arkham Asylum, City, and Night, you kind of have to not do that. Actually, just don't do that. Just make that studio make their own thing. That's very much what they like to do, is single player games, unless they really wanted to do this, which actually is kind of evident because of how good it is. But I feel like they got forced to add in more microtransactions and more replayability because of the fact that Warner Brothers seems a bit greedy at the moment. But regardless of that, they just shut down 3 studios. The most important of which, in my opinion, is Monolith. Monolith made the Lord of the Rings, Shadow of Mordor, and Shadow of War games. I love those games because of the Nemesis system. It's just so immersive. I love the Nemesis system. I'm really disappointed. I was really hoping, like, I thought James Gunn would come in and say, oh, they're making a Wonder Woman game, because that's what Monolith was making. I thought they would come in and say, oh, we're going to make it connected to the universe, because apparently video games are going to be connected to the overall DCU. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't look like, obviously, that happened because they shut down Monolith instead. So I don't know if you have anything to say about that. We're not a video game podcast, but I am very disappointed to hear that Monolith was shut down. That's what I would
yeah, it's disappointing, to say the least. I don't have much to add. It is it's frustrating. I'm not as big of a fan as of those Lord of the Rings games as you were. I played the first one for a bit, enjoyed it, had a pretty good time, and then just never kind of went back to it. But I don't know. I was curious about a Wonder Woman game, but the irony is when that game was rebooted, they took out the Nemesis system anyways.
Yeah.
So even if they were to release it, we still wouldn't have gotten anything with the Nemesis system. And I don't know, it's silly. But yeah, it just seems like wasted talent, wasted tech. It's frustrating as someone that loves video games.
So. They could have made a Batman game with a Nemesis system.
Dude, it would have worked so well.
It would have. The Nemesis system is the star of the show. If you don't know what their audience, the Nemesis system basically is a hierarchy of enemies. As your character gets defeated by any of these enemies, in specifically the Lord of the Rings games, they move up in this hierarchy. So it's like almost like a family tree of villains that basically move up in the world as they defeat you, and as you defeat them, they get moved down a peg. And so that was really cool, but it created these crazy emergent gameplay moments where it's very, very immersive. So that was the best part of the Lord of the Rings games, but Monolith, that was their signature thing. And then Warner Brothers patented that system for some goddamn reason. And then no one else can use it now. And now Monolith is shut down, and Monolith wasn't even using that for the Wonder Woman game. So it's complete. It's a complete mess. It kind of sucks. Regardless of that, let's move on.
Yeah.
But okay. According to Matthew Bologna's publication Puck, really Matthew Bologna, because I think he's the main writer there. But
he's full of baloney.
Whoa. That's not very nice. Basically, Puck, which follows the film and TV industry, they talked about Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy is apparently looking to step down from her post as the steward of the Star Wars franchise within the next year. Adrian, any thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, thank God she's stepping down. That's going to fix everything, because it's her fault that everything related to Star Wars is bad. And she single-handedly, this one woman, ruined everything. So thank God.
Of course.
Yeah, she's stepping down. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's silly. Like to solely put the blame on this woman that has been with Lucasfilm for many years, that has released phenomenal content, including Andor, and just always focusing on the negativity. I don't know. It's tough. But I hope she has a happy retirement. And again, I'm not like I'm being facetious. Like I genuinely don't think her leaving is going to fix anything, because I don't think she was the problem with what Lucasfilm was doing with Star Wars. But yeah, what's your perception on this, man?
So my thought on this is that she's had a hit and miss history. She hasn't been perfect. And the main thing I would like to point out, and this is the thing that I really, really have a lot of issues with, is it clearly they did not plan the sequels out, and that's part of her job, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry, but that is her job. And the fact that she didn't plan them out or help or ask someone to plan them out, like hire someone to plan it out. I don't know, get JJ to plan it out if you're going to get him to do it, or Ryan Johnson to do it. Whoever it is, but you need to plan out the sequels. You can't be winging it as you go. You have to have at least an idea of how it would begin, how it would have a middle, and how it would have an end. And that just was not planned. And as a result of that, they haven't really been able to get any movies off the ground because of this. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the issue for me with Kathleen Kennedy. I think that's the problem. But she's also put a lot of shows out since like the failure that was Rise of Skywalker, in my mind. Actually, the failure was Solo, a Star Wars story, which is actually a great movie. I really like that movie, actually.
I don't. Yeah, I'm very lukewarm on the Han Solo movie called Solo, a Star Wars story.
I like it. Yeah. But yeah, it's not the best by any means, by any stretch of the imagination. No. But I like it though. But the point about that is that like that movie failed commercially. That's where it failed. It didn't fail critically. Rise of Skywalker failed critically, but somehow people liked it. That's a strange one. Either that's a lie, probably a lie. Maybe the average user, like average viewer, actually didn't like Rise of Skywalker, but that's not what Rotten Tomatoes shows.
Mm-hmm.
The fervent
is it
fans
very positive on Rotten Tomatoes, like audience score?
Positive. It's positive for audience score, and the reverse in the critic score.
Damn, that's crazy.
And then Jedi.
I know
I almost said Jedi
like that.
Sorry, The Last Jedi is the opposite. Yeah. Critics love that movie. It's over a 90.
Yeah, that movie was great. I stand by that. I think Rise of Skywalker is fucking trash, and it literally just like left such a negative taste in my mouth. I can't think of any redeeming things of that movie, and I know we talk about being nuanced, but I like when I think of that movie, I just get this visceral like sort of there's nothing good about it. I cannot think of a single thing that I enjoyed about that movie. Whereas like, I mean, again, someone that really loves The Last Jedi, I can think of things that I don't like about it, but I don't think it ruins the movie for me. I really love that fucking movie. I think there's plenty of great stuff going on. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to think of that movie, and it's so forgettable. It's so disappointing.
It's pretty disappointing.
Yeah.
That's one of my least favorite movies of all time.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat with you, man.
You know what's good about it though? The music's good. And the sound effects are good. It sounds like Star Wars. It looks like Star Wars. The graphic visual effects are good. That aspect, cool. But the plot line is so bad that it's just unredeemable. And that's the issue. Regardless of that, the point about Kathleen Kennedy I'm making though, on a nuanced perspective, she is not bad. She is a sum of her parts. And I think that she's done a great job. But she also faltered with that sequel series, and that kind of set lots of things in motion of a toxic fan base that we really maybe could have avoided a little bit if they had planned it out a little bit more specifically. Although, to be honest, Star Wars is the fan base is always kind of an angry. Post the original trilogy, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
After the original trilogy aired, people were happy, I guess. Some people didn't like Return of the Jedi. But then when the prequels came out, people hated it. And then people grew up with the prequels and loved it. I'm wondering if anyone will grow up and love the sequels. That's the question I have.
Maybe.
But the thing about the prequels is that they have a cohesive story because George Lucas made sure that it worked together. Like the sequels don't work because they literally retcon things in Rise of Skywalker that happened in The Last Jedi. Mm-hmm. So how can anyone watch all three and think, oh, these are all good? I don't understand that personally, but I still think The Last Jedi is one of my favorite Star Wars movies, as controversial as that may seem.
No, I'm in the same boat as you, man. I agree. But we're not real Star Wars fans.
Yeah. And I also like The Acolyte. So there's that.
Yeah.
Andor's probably the best Star Wars thing that exists.
It is. That I've seen, at least. I haven't watched The Acolyte.
Right.
Or the Clone Wars, like the
Here's
full
the thing
animated
too.
series.
Kathleen Kennedy's out, right? Potentially, we'll see. Maybe that's not even true, but they say it is. And so she's out. And then what if they get somebody worse? Like it's like she's not bad.
Am I crazy? Who are they bringing in? Simon Kinberg or whatever.
Simon Kinberg is doing something. He's the architect. Apparently, I think that's what they're saying. He's Simon Kinberg of X-Men Apocalypse fame.
God, that movie made me throw a bagel out of my trunk onto a Cineplex wall. Do you remember that?
I do remember it. You had a cream cheese bagel in your trunk. We walked over to your car. You popped the trunk, grabbed the bagel, and you threw it against the wall of the Cineplex, and then you drove away. Pretty much.
Yeah, I did throw it in the garbage after. I didn't later.
We should do a topic of the show eventually about Star Wars and how they've got Simon Kinberg in charge of the Star Wars universe in some capacity. I think he's the architect, of the sequels, the next sequels, the new apparently they're going back to the Skywalker saga. Jesus. Which is a strange choice.
Just do something different already.
See, that's Kathleen Kennedy though too. See, you take the good and the bad. Like the Mandalorian's excellent. Andor's excellent. I think The Acolyte was a good choice. It's cool. It is something different, by the way. I think that it's Skeleton Crew takes some interesting swings. I like it. I think Rise of Skywalker not Rise of Skywalker, terrible. The Last Jedi takes really big swings, and I think they pay off for people who actually like movies.
Is the
But,
hey. Is the Acolyte during the High Republic era, or is it just a different era entirely?
That's correct, I believe. Let me make sure though, because I don't want to. The Acolyte.
Yeah, because the most interesting part about Jedi Survivor is all the stuff that they reference about the High Republic.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, this is cool. This is a cool stuff. And like,
it's the final days of the High Republic. That's correct.
Okay. Yeah. So that's so interesting. I don't know. Maybe I'll watch the Acolyte.
You should. I'm being serious. If you're gonna watch one or the other, Skeleton Crew or this, maybe I won't say that yet. I'm almost at the end of Skeleton Crew. I've got like 2 episodes left.
Okay.
Once I see the end, then I can maybe give you a good verdict, unless you got a hankering to go back to Star Wars again. But I think it's worth it to watch the Acolyte personally. But the thing is not worth it about it is it's not continuing. We know for sure it's not continuing. So
yeah,
it's like, what are you going to do about that? Nothing. It's over.
Yeah.
That TV show it costed too much to make. That's the issue. Yeah. It costed too much to make for the amount of viewership it got, and the negative hype caused it to get less viewers. And so how is that worth it then to spend more money on another season? But anyway. Okay. Yeah, that's it.
So rest in peace.
Rest in peace, the Acolyte?
Yeah.
Okay. Because Kathleen Kennedy very much alive.
She's still alive, as far as I'm aware.
Thank goodness. All right. Cool. But yeah, the good and the bad. The good and the bad. It's like it's a 50-50. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Sure. All right. Last piece of news before we move on to what we've been watching. Just briefly here, you sent me this article. There was an Entertainment Weekly exclusive that was referencing that the Punisher, they're making a Punisher Marvel special in the same vein as, what's the name of that TV show? Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special.
Holiday special.
The Wolf.
Wolves by Night. Werewolf by Night.
Werewolf by Night.
Is it? This sounds wrong.
We're failing here. But anyway, regardless of that, you look that up while I explain the rest. But the Punisher series.
It was Werewolf by Night. It was.
Werewolf by Night. The Punisher series is always.
Edit it. We got it right the first time.
No, I'm not doing that. I got to get out of here. I got a flight to catch, so I have no time to edit it. But regardless of that, Jon Bernthal is starring in it from the original Punisher series on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be, I guess, an hour and a half, just like the Werewolf by Night Marvel special. It's interesting because Jon Bernthal seems to have a pretty big part in the Daredevil show, Daredevil Born Again, which is just started airing. Mm-hmm. I'm curious if you watched that, but the reason I put this here is because I thought you maybe did watch it, and then we can go right into what you watched. But regardless of that, this is interesting. It's apparently being directed by the Reynaldo Marcus Green, who directed King Richard, which is quite cool.
That was the Oscar-nominated flick. That's the Will Smith slapping.
Yeah, the one he won for.
Yeah.
He won immediately after slapping Chris Rock. Yeah. What an emotional roller coaster that night was. That Oscars. Regardless of that,
good times.
Yeah, crazy stuff. But that's really cool though. That's a pretty big name to direct a Marvel flick, and it's Jon Bernthal writing it, at least in half, in part. So that's pretty neat. Any thoughts on that? I know you sent it to me, so I'm assuming you do have some thoughts.
Yeah, I don't know. I like these kind of specials. I don't know. Werewolf by Night was really fun. The Guardians holiday special was really fun and quite heartfelt. So like this, I'm curious. I doubt this is going to be fun, considering. Did you ever watch Punisher season 2?
I didn't.
Me neither. I only watched the first season, and I really liked it. Maybe I'm gonna go back and binge the second season.
Problem is, I think by the time I wanted to, I got around to it, they determined that they wouldn't make any more seasons on Netflix.
Yeah,
that Disney was taking it away, and then it wasn't going to happen on Disney. So I was like, okay. And then now finally it's coming back to Disney.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's what kind of turned me off of it. But the second season did look appealing. Mm-hmm. It's also got Evan Moss Backrack in it. Mm-hmm. This is so interesting because he's also in Fantastic Four, so he plays 2 roles in the Marvel Cinematic Universe now, technically.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's the man in the chair, basically, for the Punisher.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because I didn't even recognize him because he's wearing, I think he's got long hair, and I didn't even remember that until I'm like, I know this guy from somewhere else. He's got a really good part in Andor as well.
Yes.
I think I saw him in Andor first, and then I saw him in The Bear after. And so I was like, oh, that's the guy from Andor, from my perspective anyway.
For me, when I was watching Andor, I was like, oh, that's the guy from The Bear. I did the opposite. Exactly.
Yeah. He's great in The Bear. He's great in Andor.
He's great.
He's great in everything. He's really good.
He is.
He's great. But
I hope he's a good guy.
Is he?
I hope so.
Oh, you hope he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Sorry. I misheard you. I'm gonna turn up my volume. But yeah, okay. So yeah, it's exciting. We'll see what happens. We'll see what comes of this. But I guess we can move on to what we've watched.
And then I'm very curious because again, like apparently he's gonna have a big part in Daredevil Born Again, which I have watched. Simon, the first 2 episodes they've released them. Have you watched it yet?
Sorry, are you saying that Eben Moss Backrack is
no, John Bernthal, Punisher.
Okay,
I said the Punisher.
That clear because we were just.
Yeah, sorry, that's on me. That's on me.
I haven't watched them, no, so I'm likely going to wait till the end.
Oh, okay.
I'm tired of this garbage. I hate week to week. I told you this.
Fair enough.
I'm not sure. I'm not completely sure. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, what do you think?
I thought it was pretty good. I quite like it. I'm into it. It's pretty intense, pretty shocking. The way they just kind of go right back into this universe. It is very mature. It is very M-rated or R-rated. So I'm quite enjoying it so far. I was kind of hoping that you did watch it because again, this isn't spoilers. It's all in the trailer, so I'll keep things brief. But it's essentially this season is Daredevil is not daredeviling about anymore. Like he's like I don't want to be a daredevil, and Wilson Fisk is like, I'm a good guy now and I'm running for mayor and I'm going to be the mayor of this town. Right. And this is all shown in the trailer. And that's essentially the setup in the first episode is, Wilson Fisk is back. He's like, I'm going to be the mayor of this town. And, Charlie Cox, Matt Murdock. Oh my God. I forgot his name. Is like, I'm going to be a lawyer. If you're going to be bad being mayor, I'm going to come after you. And then Wilson Fisk is like, well, I'm going after vigilantes. So if you're going to be vigilanting about, I'm going to get you son of a bitch. And they're like, okay, cool. We got an agreement. But the weird part about the first episode is it's literally, Wilson Fisk becoming the mayor. And that's the first episode of the show. But when I was watching it, I was kind of confused as to how long does that take place? Because it's very unclear. In the show, It seems like Wilson Fisk comes back to New York, says that he wants to be mayor, and by the next day, he is the mayor of the town, or within a couple of days. Huh. So it was a little unclear of how the pacing was. And that's like the one thing that stuck out to me in that first episode.
So the timeline was weird.
It was. It's kind of confusing. And I don't know, maybe I missed something. That's why I was hoping that you would watch it. And I was curious if you'd agree. But ultimately, apart from that, it's really good. They bring in a lot of new characters. They all obviously have previous characters from the Netflix 3-season arc. And they're keeping up with the brutality. The writing is very good. Nice. Everything about it is fantastic. The fight choreography. So I'm really enjoying it. And I'm very curious to see where the show is going to go.
It's a lot of episodes.
Yeah. And
which is interesting.
It seems like I don't know. It's interesting. I think it's not going to be as like action forward as the previous seasons, but I think there still will be a lot. It's just kind of how it's set up. It's almost I feel like this is not really a fair comparison because I haven't watched it yet either. But like I know Joker 2 is apparently like a lot of it takes place in like a courtroom, and I think this is kind of what Daredevil Born Again is going to be. It's going to be like almost a courtroom drama, a lot of it. So
why are you making that connection?
Yeah, it's just the only thing that I can think of as a courtroom drama, and it's a superhero thing, quote unquote.
Oh, She-Hulk.
Oh yeah, shit,
weirdo.
Yeah, forgot
What's
about
wrong
that.
With you?
Yeah, I guess She-Hulk would have been a better connection considering Daredevil's literally in it.
The Joker movie is notoriously not good, apparently. I feel like it's not bad, actually. I bet you it's not as bad as people say. I want to watch it and kind of get a perspective.
Yeah, I'll watch it eventually. The trailers for me, I was like, this looks awful. Like when I was watching the trailers, I was like, this looks like it's going to be intolerable.
Okay. Interesting.
But I don't know. I do want to watch it. I'm one of the people that think the first Joker movie is so severely overrated. Like, I enjoyed it.
Oh,
I
it is
thought
overrated. It got nominated for Best Picture.
I was like, what? But yeah, like the way people talk about it is like, this is a masterpiece. I'm like, this movie is fine at best. Like, but anyways, but yeah, I'm very curious to see where Daredevil will go. But there's an actor in Daredevil Born Again. I'm not sure if you're aware of this. He plays the character White Tiger in the show. Okay. And the actor actually just passed away, like back in December of cancer.
Whoa. No
so
way.
In the second episode where that actor shows up, they have like, dedicated to that actor's name. I feel bad for not knowing this. I should say the guy's literally fucking dead.
White Tiger.
Daredevil.
Born Again.
Okay, it's what?
Thanks for coming prepared, Adrian.
Yeah, no worries, man. Camar de los Reyes.
Okay.
Camar de los Reyes. And yeah, he's White Tiger in the show, and yeah, he unfortunately passed away back in December, I think, from cancer.
Well, that's
from what I read online. So it's unfortunate. Like it's kind of sad. So I'm curious what they're gonna do with this character in the show. Like if he's gonna be a major part in the entire first season, setting something up for the second season, if they're gonna recast him, whatever. But yeah, that was a little bit unfortunate because I looked into this after the fact. But so far I'm into it. I'm excited about where Daredevil Born Again is gonna go. And yeah, I kind of wish you watched it so we could talk a little bit more about it. But ultimately, if you want to wait, man, it's up to you. That's it's up to you.
Whoa, I feel pressured.
Yeah,
I just can't do it. Week to week, it's not good. I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't like it. We have a new way. There's a new age. There's a new way to do it. Why are we doing it this way? Mm-hmm. Like we'll launch the episodes in batches of 3, maybe do 3 a week. That's okay too. That works. 1 a week. That's for the first episode though. That's for the first.
I wonder if they are going to do 2 a week going forward. Because like it's 18 episodes. Like
that would be awesome, but I doubt that. They want to keep people in, man.
Yeah, for 18 weeks.
Yeah. They want people in. This is probably one of their strategies. They're like, what show can we really do a lot of episodes so we can keep people subscribed to Disney Plus as long as possible? It's shocking that Netflix has even kept this on, like this charade up long enough with these like dropping all the episodes at once, because it doesn't help your marketing. You'd rather people keep coming back to your streaming service on a repeated basis. Yeah. I come back to Netflix constantly, but then again, I would just cancel and come back when the season wraps. So it doesn't really affect me.
I don't know. I am curious because I mean, like the second season of Andor is, I don't know, like end of April or some shit like that. I can't remember. But like you'd assume that you wouldn't want these 2 shows running concurrently. So, but maybe they do. I don't know. Who cares?
I don't know. Yeah, I will probably start watching it at like the 8 episode mark maybe, and then just start to like slowly catch up as I go, because I have a few shows I usually have on the go at the same time. So I might do that. But if you really want me to, I can do it. I can watch it so you can talk about it. But then again, we're not doing spoilers anyway. So what's the difference?
Yeah, fair
enough. Just talk to me about it. I want to hear about it. Let me know.
Okay,
about it. We never can talk about it past the first episode anyway, because it becomes like embroiled in spoilers as soon as you get past episode 2. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
For what we talk about, like we don't talk about Severance specifically. Severance has been amazing. The last episode is incredible. I can't barely talk about that.
Yeah.
I will say though, like the director is the cinematographer for that last episode, and that episode was amazing. And the cinematography in it specifically amazing. Very crazy visual effects. Awesome. Very good.
Amazing.
Beautifully shot episode. Beautifully.
Look at all them eyeballs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you watched this week?
Yeah. I have also watched another movie, Simon.
This bye week. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, this bye week.
Because we launch episodes every 2 weeks on Tuesdays, but yeah.
Yeah. I've
Yes.
Yeah, you know what? I'll talk about it. No, okay. I had to pull up my list because I watched a few things the past couple weeks. But
I have watched too many things. I'm going to pretty much just glance over the things I watched.
Okay, fair enough. So I'll kind of glance over these last 3 things until we get to our joint review topic. But I watched Paddington in Peru with my fiance.
You did? That's huge.
Yeah, we had a nice little date night watching Paddington in Peru, the third Paddington movie.
Thanks for the invite, by the way.
Hey man, it's a date night. Every once in a while, I just got to spend time with the fiance. I apologize.
It's fine. It's fine.
You want? Sorry, next date night, I'm including you, buddy.
No, I don't want to be.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'll bring you on my back. I'll bring you in my pocket.
It's okay. I just thought we had a connection with Paddington. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, did we?
I'm
we
kidding.
never watched.
Just making you feel bad for no reason. Just tell me about Paddington.
How could you make me feel bad? Yeah,
was it
great.
as good
I
as
love it.
episode 2 of Paddington?
Of Paddington episode 2. I don't know. Like, probably not. Like, Paddington 2 is just start to finish a masterpiece. Like, genuinely, like, adorable all throughout. Paddington and Peru is, but like tonally, like very similar. It's so heartfelt. It's cute. It's funny. It's adorable. They do a lot of interesting stuff with Paddington lore as well, which is kind of crazy. Cool. Antonio Banderas is in it as a person that wants to find gold, and he's really fun and over the top, and how him and Paddington and the family play off each other is really great. Olivia Colman's in it. She has a musical number in it, and it's like 15 minutes into the movie, and then maybe 10, and there's like a musical number with Olivia Colman, and I was like, did they make this fucking movie a musical? They did not. It's just the one musical number, but it's really good. And all that jazz. But the one thing I do want to point out that I think, I guess I don't want to say brings this movie down, because I honestly feel kind of bad about it. But they replaced Sally Hawkins.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, she's Mrs. Brown in the first 2 Paddington movies, and she's replaced by Emily Mortimer in Paddington in Peru.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, I'm surprised you didn't know this.
No.
Yeah, so she is replaced. So I think that is the one thing that kind of holds this movie back, because Sally Hawkins in the first 2 Paddington movies is stellar, and she brings like this kind of gravitas to the screen. She's so endearing, and the way she cares about Paddington is so wholesome and wonderful. And I don't know why she didn't come back for the sequel. Maybe it's because like she was in Wonka with Paul King, who directed the first 2 Paddington movies. That's an assumption. I don't know that for a fact. But again, she's replaced by Emily Mortimer. And I feel like I don't want to discredit Emily Mortimer as an actress. I'm sure she's fantastic in a lot of things. And she is really great in this movie. But it's tough, because like, what are you going to do? You're going to come into this role and do something different? Or are you going to copy what Sally Hawkins did in the last 2 movies? But because she's copying that, it seems like almost like a cheap knockoff version. And again, I don't want to be disrespectful to her, because she is great, and she still is like, it doesn't ruin the movie, and she plays off the family well, but it is a little jarring watching this. And I just feel like, her expressions look like what Sally Hawkins would do in those situations, but it's just not as believable. I don't really know how to put it, but again, she is still really great, and the movie is still fantastic. I don't think like it ruins the movie by any means. But it was something to note, and that is a little disappointing. But again, all in all, phenomenal movie. Love it. I love the Paddington movies. I think they're great for kids, great for adults. You want to have a good cry? Watch Paddington 2.
But Paddington in Peru, you wouldn't have a good cry.
No, I don't think so. Like I got like a little teary eyed, but like Paddington 2, I sobbed,
It's confusing. So. The director of Paddington in Peru is Dougal Wilson, but I don't know anything else this guy's made. Am I crazy? But his first movie is a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes for tomato meter, and 91% popcorn meter, and he just came out of nowhere. How can that be?
I don't know.
That's a strange one.
It is.
Yeah, I was just looking at the box office because I was curious how it did. It's as of March 4th, it grossed $32.3 million in the United States and Canada, over $165 million worldwide. That seems okay.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if that's what
I think they greenlit. Did we talk about it? They greenlit like a sequel already, and I think they're doing like a TV show as well. Did we talk about that?
I don't know. I don't think we talked about the TV show.
Okay.
I don't think we talked about the sequel, actually. Interesting.
Yeah, I think they are doing that. I could be wrong. Maybe this is a false memory. but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, why would it's strange to me? You would think if you're Sally Hawkins, you would definitely do this series. I find that weird. Like maybe you're right. Maybe she went along with Paul King to maybe they're filming the Wonka movie with Timothée Chalamet at the same time as they were filming Paddington in Peru, and so therefore she chose one or the other. It's so weird though. Like I don't know. Like Paddington 2 is one of the best family movies of all time. Maybe
according to movies of all time.
According to Nicolas Cage in no, not Nicolas Cage. It was Pedro Pascal's character in what is it? Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yes.
In Great that movie, he says that Paddington 2 is the best movie of all time, or something like that. Something ridiculous, which I don't agree with, but it is a really great movie. It's not the greatest movie of all time, but
it's up there.
It's incredible though. It's a really good movie.
If you made a list of the 10 best movies, it would be on that list.
And like you're a part of that series. The first movie, Paddington 1, was really well regarded too. And then you make Wonka instead, and Wonka's not nearly as well regarded. It's just still, I don't know, a little bit strange. I find that a little weird. I feel like if you're Sally Hawkins, you really try to do both.
Yeah.
But hey, that's just me. I'm kind of shocked a little bit.
That's just
like if you're in like a series that's not doing that well, you're just not feeling it, like you're not liking it. Like I feel like what's a good Terrence Howard. I don't think he was feeling being in Iron Man, but that was a successful movie. But I'm not sure he knew the breadth of how crazy the MCU would get after Iron Man. Iron Man did really well, and it is really great. But I think after that, I think if he had seen the Avengers, and he might have been like, "Oh my God, what have I done?" I feel like if I was him, I would have done that. But Sally Hawkins was already in the best of the series. She was in the first one, which is fine. It's good. It's great. The second one, which is even better. By a long shot. Although the first one's great, the second one's excellent.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how you I don't want to be in this series anymore. They're not making the movies that often. They're not it's not like
Paddington 2 came out in 2017, I think. Maybe 2018.
Like you're not Robert Downey Jr. in a million MCU movies. You've just been in like 2 Paddington movies. It seems like you're not asked to do that much. Anyway, I don't know.
She was in The Shape of Water, Oscar-nominated Oscar-winning Best Picture, Shape of Water, 2019, I think.
She became too good for it.
Yeah.
But then again, Paddington 2 came out after it, didn't it?
No, before.
So that's what it is. She got an Oscar nominated, and she's like, nah, I'm too good for this now. I'm too good for one of the best family movies of all time.
One of the best movies of all time.
Right. Yeah. Maybe the best family movie of all time.
It is.
I don't know. It's a strange one. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Anything else you watched?
Yeah. I mean, I watched The Gorge, which you mentioned 2 weeks ago that you and your fiance watched. I watched it with my fiance. It's fun. Sweet. I really like it. You're right. It kind of goes in places where I didn't expect.
Yeah. Not predictable, really.
It's really good. I really, really enjoyed it. It's kind of a bummer that it's not like critically received greatly, but some
plot convenience issues with it that I had with it, but otherwise it's good. I really like it.
Yeah. It's a fun movie. And last night, as of when we're recording, I watched the 1995 flick Clueless.
Oh yeah,
nice. Yeah, for the first time. I never watched it.
Nice,
starring oh my god,
Alicia.
Oh my god, Alicia Silverstone and Paul Rudd. It's hilarious, dude. I really like this movie. A lot of these like kind of rom-coms in the 90s just have like such a good vibe. It just feels so nostalgic. Even though I was 1 year old when this movie came out. But it's really, really good. And it just follows like Alicia Silverstone's character. She's in high school. She's kind of like this ditzy rich girl.
She's kind of clueless.
She's a little clueless. That like finds like Brittany Murphy shows up to her school. And she's like, oh, I'm going to, make this girl like kind of more popular and stuff. And I don't know, it's a lot more slapstick than I expected. There's a lot of just like really good jokes. They're not afraid to use the word retarded, which is always jarring when you watch like movies from back then. Like there's literally, I think she literally says like, what am I, retarded or something like to someone? Or like, I'm not a retard. It's like, oh, geez, you don't see that too often in movies these days. But yeah, I really like it. It's 30 years old now. One thing to note though, in that movie, it opens my eyes in how like, this is maybe this is too much, but like, you know, the 2010s craze of like, oh, step bro, like step sis, you know, that fetish culture that just like kind of built up, the daddy culture that built up, all that, you know, kind of girls like baby talk, like that sort of fetish. I watched this movie and I genuinely believe this was the start of all of those fetishes. Just like this precursor. It's the kindling. It's crazy. She says daddy so often in like this little like baby voice. The sexual tension between Paul Rudd, who is technically her ex stepbrother, and her is palpable. The way she talks, even like shot. I mean, I guess Quentin Tarantino's been doing this forever, but like the foot, like feet shots with foot fetishes, it's crazy. I was watching this and I was like, I think I'm watching history right now. I'm watching like the beginning of fetish culture in a lot of ways. And it was like mind boggling. I was like talking to my fiance. I was like, oh my God, like so much of this is just so prominent in that, like, yeah, you know, pornography industry and fetish culture. It's crazy.
I'm sure people were into feet before Clueless.
I know. Yeah. Because of Quentin Tarantino. No.
No.
But no. Yeah. But yeah, like all that stuff. I was like, holy moly. But yeah, it's a great movie. Highly recommended. Loved it.
Cool. I've watched bits and pieces of that movie. Like maybe probably watched the whole thing, but just on TV over the years and not ever in like in an actual order, in chronological order, I feel like. But yeah, interesting. Okay. Cool, man. Cool, man. Sweet.
So, I mean, I guess before we get into the movie we both watched, what have you watched, man? You tell me.
I watched a lot of things. I don't want to talk about them all in too much detail. I'll go over them I'll try to skip through them. Let's time myself here. Okay. Firstly, I watched Challengers, which I watched in a hotel, which I think is perfect for that movie.
Yeah.
It's a perfect thing to watch.
Great
in
movie.
a hotel because it's connected to the hotel in the movie a little bit.
Yeah.
Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, killer soundtrack, just killer. They just kill it with the score every time. The
Unbelievable.
From the three leads, phenomenal, just great. And I love the cinematography. There's certain shot composition, like there's this one scene in like a parking lot with like the wind and the lights are red. That part really cool. There's a lot of really cool cinematography with the tennis as well. They do like a first person Hardcore Henry type situation, but the Hardcore Henry is the ball. I guess in a very weird way to describe that. So it really shot well. Luca Guadagnino, good job, bro.
10 out of 10.
No, it's good. That movie's very good.
Yeah, quick step back. One thing that I don't know if you mentioned it, but the Gorge. When I was sitting, I was like, "This has a really great score as well." I was like, "I wonder." Yeah, halfway through the movie, I was like, "Is this Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross?" And then when the credits start, it started going, and I was like, "Oh my God, it is!"
I do that all the time with them. I have a pretty good ear for that because I've just been doing that for a long time. I have like a very strong affinity for really good scores and really great composers. So that's something that I've been noticing, especially if it's Michael Giacchino or if it's Hans Zimmer, especially as well, or John Williams is obvious. I feel like he's got the best scores. Potentially, if you like take them all together and look at them, it's like, wow, some of these scores are incredible. But Reznor and Ross, like, more and more so, they have a very distinct style and they're great. And I love it. Again, cannot believe that they got them for the Intergalactic The Heretic Prophet video game. I'm so excited for that aspect. It's so neat. But yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's really good. A good movie. Challengers. Good movie.
Snubbed.
Barely, I was going to say barely nominated for any Oscars. Very interesting. I wonder what happened. Anyway, I also watched Alien Romulus. I watched that yesterday. Also excellent. Very good, and maybe my favorite Alien movie. I'm not sure. Whoa. I think Alien 1 from 1979 still wins. I don't love aliens that much. I may have told you this in person. Yeah. And say it on the podcast. That's a controversial take. I know people love Aliens. They think it's the greatest one. In some way, I don't really agree.
I really love Aliens, but I think Alien 1 is better. And I do agree with you that I still like Alien the most, but I think Alien Romulus is up there. It's very close.
It's excellent, and it takes some interesting twists and turns, and it makes some plot choices. I thought it was going to be more of a rehash of Alien from 1979, like Ridley Scott's Alien, in like a lot of ways, but it really didn't just rehash. It really took the ideas from Alien and then just really amplified various things. And then they took ideas from Aliens, which is cool as well.
Yeah.
And they took various things and then they did
took
original
things from Prometheus as well.
I was going to say that's another big thing, which I was really impressed with. I thought David Johnson in that movie is like unbelievable. He's so good as the synthetic human. I thought he's just so good. There's like moments I'm like, wow, this guy killed it. I thought Michael Fassbender in Prometheus also amazing in that role. One of my favorite things in Prometheus actually is that he's watching Lawrence of Arabia. I just think that that's so cool. And then he's like mirrored off of it's so neat. I love that. Anyway, regardless of that, Romulus is excellent. Kaylee Spiney's great too.
Yeah, and I think the entire cast of that movie is great. And cool bit of knowledge about that is the director. Oh my god, why did I forget his name? Director of the movie.
It's oh man, now I've forgotten it. Alvarez.
Fede Alvarez. Yeah. So he specifically talked about how the one character, Isabella Merced's character, Kay, in that movie, was specifically inspired by a character from The Last of Us Part 2, Dina.
No way.
Yeah, he's a big fan of the video games, and he made that character based off Dina from Last of Us Part 2, cast Isabella Merced in it, and then she was then cast as Dina in The Last of Us Season 2.
Coincidentally, or did they connect in some way with the HBO guys? Completely?
Completely.
There's no casting director that's related. There's nobody related to Fede Alvarez to actually make that happen?
From his explanation, no. Yeah, from his explanation, he just said that it was like a full circle moment for him.
Wow, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Okay. That's really neat.
Because he is a big fan of video games. And I know you don't really love horror games, but Alien Isolation, the video game, he took a lot of inspiration from that video game and brought it to this movie. I highly, highly, highly recommend that game. Phenomenal. Cool. So good.
Sweet. Not to me, but thank you. But also, on a technical standpoint, this movie killed it. Even the titling was like 1979 Alien. There's like the cinematography. They did like a filter effect over the way it's shot, like the way it was just shot in general. It's like an homage to the various ways that the 1979 Alien was shot. The way that technology works, similar to 1979 Alien. Whereas in Prometheus, I don't know what they're doing with the technology. It's very confusing. I know there's explanations there. I don't really want to get into that. I think it's silly. But I love it. I love it in the practical effects in terms of the alien and the way that they shot it in a way that practical effects would have to be shot to actually do them realistically and not make you feel like... Actually, great example of this, Wolfman, actually. The way that they shoot the Wolfman kind of takes the steam out of that movie a little bit. In this, they don't shoot the animatronics ever so specifically so that it takes the steam out of it. And that's part of it because it becomes too hokey. If you shoot the villain, like the horror mascot of whatever you're doing, and you shoot it very specifically, and then it's like you see it holistically, it suddenly takes the steam out of it. I feel like that is a thing. And the way it's shot is so wise. And it's the same way Ridley Scott, I feel like, shot it in the 1979 Alien. So I really cool. Really cool. I was surprised at how good it was. I shouldn't have been that surprised. You said it was really good for many moons. And lastly, the best thing I watched this week, this week, by far, is Conclave. Conclave is excellent. It is really good. It's Edward Berger from we watched together actually in a
from Bob's Burgers.
Yeah. No, you actually know?
No.
Edward Berger? Really?
Not off the top of my head.
So Edward Berger, he directed All Quiet on the Western Front, which we saw together in the Waterloo Princess Twin cinemas. And he got nominated last year as well. And then he got nominated this year for Conclave in terms of the Oscars specifically. And this movie is a technical marvel. The score in this is really excellent as well. That I'll say too. I'm trying to look up the name of the composer. I thought the score might win for best score as well. I'm trying to find the name of the composer and I'm missing it. I don't see him. But he
watched that on Amazon Prime? Is it on Amazon Prime?
Conclave, I watched. It was on something. Yeah. It must have been Amazon Prime. But it's excellent. It's a technical marvel. I thought it was excellent. The score is really good. Ralph Fiennes is so good. He's so good. The ensemble cast in general, they all blend into their characters. They're like, nobody's like they all just seem like their characters. Like Stanley Tucci's in it; he's great, as well. And I think the direction is like very clearly like realized. I think the cinematography is amazing, the production design, the costume design. There's some shots. There's this one shot where all these cardinals are walking through and it's raining out and they're all wearing these like the traditional garb and they're wearing like they have the umbrellas. It's crazy though to think that I don't know if you ever had this as a kid. Do you go to Catholic school?
I did, yeah.
Okay, cool. Whenever they had to choose a pope though, and like at least when I was in school, at one point we had that like the rolling TV with the VCR and all that.
Yeah.
So we had at one point they were choosing. I think it was after John Paul II passed away, and they had to choose a pope, and so they showed us they showed us like there was just a shot I think of the Vatican, and it was just showing like whether the smoke was coming up or whatever, and it was cool because we were just I think it was just on 24/7 for a few days just to see if it would have been like who they chose as the next pope, and I always wonder like what's going on in there. And it's just like it's this idea, like what kind of drama is going on in there? Like how much ambition can these guys even have? Because of course they're
they're men of God,
holy men of God, and how can they really have that much ambition to try to get this massive role in their society? I suppose. So I thought it was so interesting, like what kind of drama goes on in there, and it's just there's this really cool political drama. It's really, really fun. It's really cool. And there's a lot of things that go on in this movie. And it's what you would expect if you were to expect a pretty exciting movie to exist. If you want it to be exciting and not just be boring and just a bunch of priests huddling together and saying, "Oh, I choose you." It's not really that. There's a lot of like,
I choose you, Pikachu.
But, yeah, and there's also John Lithgow. John Lithgow is excellent as well in it. There's so many good acting, good actors in this, and it is really well shot. I really recommend this movie. It's intriguing. It's very interesting. I was really happy to watch this one. This was my favorite movie of the week, but we also watched The Monkey, you and I, in theaters. We watched The Monkey, and we watched it together. I'll throw it to you because I've been talking way too long. So
no, man. Honestly, I don't think you've been talking for too long. I love listening to you chat with me.
Oh, okay.
I love listening to you, buddy.
That's nice.
Yeah, no worries.
A little bit condescending, a little bit. There,
no, so. Brother. Yeah, I feel like buddy can come off as condescending. I love listening to you, brother.
You're like, it's okay, little buddy. Yeah, I love listening to you.
I just love it. Yeah, so we watched the Osgood Perkins directed movie based on the Stephen King short story called The Monkey.
Yes.
Not to be confused with that Robbie Williams monkey movie called. It wasn't called The Monkey.
No,
that much I know because we watched.
What was that called? Showtime with Robbie Williams or something like that?
No, it's not. Imagine
Robbie Williams movie. I'm looking that up right now. Better Man. Better Monkey.
And again, Oz Perkins directed this flick, and I really enjoyed it. I think it's a fun time. It's very like hyper violent, and it's interesting because this movie, although it's like an hour and a half, it feels like a short story. Weirdly enough, I feel like it translates quite well to a feature length, but the way it's told and the way it's presented to us as the viewer, it felt very short story-esque. And I don't mean that as like a derogatory thing. I think it keeps the pace brisk and consistent. And it gives you just enough time with each of these characters to kind of be a little bit more developed. However, I don't know. I think I watched the first trailer. I had no idea about, the short story. And this movie like went places where I did not expect it to go whatsoever. I honestly don't know if one of the main things about who Theo James plays is in the trailers. So it kind of caught me off guard, or even kind of this movie kind of takes place in two separate times. There's, like a setting that takes place, back in the mid 90s and then kind of almost present day. And I don't know why I just didn't pick that up when I watched those trailers. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I just kind of forgot about it because I think I just watched the trailer the one or two times. But yeah, this movie is incredibly hyper violent. It's about this monkey. It's a toy, life or like life. And this
Like
monkey,
life.
whenever it plays on its drums, someone will die an incredibly violent death.
Right.
And presumably the person that turns the monkey's key in the back is not, one to die. So, a lot of crazy stuff happens when, Theo James's character, I think it's Hal, is like a kid. People die and they're like, and he's like, I got to put this monkey away and hope it never comes back. And he, grows up to be kind of like a recluse. He has a son, but he's kind of, not really connected to his son or his wife. And then his wife's married to Elijah Wood's character, a guy named, I think it's like Ted Hammerman or something, which is, I think so, because he has like a bunch of books and stuff, and it's about books about being a father, and it adds like a lot of comedy. And I really want to stress that this movie it's a horror comedy, but it is far more comedy than horror. It's really just horror in the sense of very over the top violent and grotesque. There's some brutal deaths in it. But ultimately I think it is a comedy first and a horror movie second. But yeah, I
think
quite
you're
enjoyed
getting
this.
less and less scared, and you're like gatekeeping this horror genre a little bit. I'm getting that vibe from you.
Me?
A little bit, yeah, because like it's a horror. It's a horror.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I don't know.
I know what you mean. You don't get scared as much anymore. Good for you. All right.
Yeah, maybe.
I wasn't
I'm just
scared
cool
really
like
that much too, but I still think it's a horror. It's like saying Get Out isn't a horror. It is.
It's more of a psychological thriller, Simon.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm curious because you're not a horror guy. You're not really. I mean, we just talked about you watched Alien Romulus and Alien. You liked those movies. Those are horror.
No,
Alien is still terrifying. So what do you think of the monkey?
You didn't even respond.
What did you say? You're not a fan of horror at all? What did you say?
That's not what I said.
No, say it. What did you say? Post. No.
I said I'm not a whore at all.
Oh, you're not a whore at all.
That's stupid. Don't fake laugh on my expense. Anyway,
that was good.
I think it's a good blend of comedy and horror. I thought it was cool. I thought that the way that each character potentially would, like, if a character might die in a scene, the way that they showed it and the anticipation was the jump scare. Like I was always on edge because it's very violent and like what might happen to them could be like very gruesome and like very shocking, very quick. And they did it he shot it so well that he shot it in a way that you kind of feel this tension build up because that as soon as the monkey's hitting the drums, that at the end of it, somebody's going to perish. So it's kind of, that was really neat. And the gruesomeness of it, because you knew it was going to be gruesome each time, there's a little bit of like, I'm not that acclimatized to that situation. It's gross. I don't want to see someone die violently necessarily, but the fact that it's going to happen, like if you're watching a show like The Boys, right? The Boys is very gruesome, but those things happen and there's no build up because you don't know that someone's going to get destroyed by Homelander before he destroys them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like Homelander, the villain of the show, like kills people all the time gruesomely, but there's no anticipation for it. You kind of just, you see it and you're like, he killed somebody again. But in this, it's going to come and you're not sure when it will happen. And when it does happen, you're like, oh, that's again, someone's got their head chopped off with a clothesline or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool. I like that idea. It was neat. I feel like it got I don't feel like it did as well at the 3/4 mark. I feel like it lost its luster and its like steam a little bit for me. That was a problem with it. I feel like it just, at a certain point, it was like, all right, like it felt like the plot was not progressing. It felt like the ending maybe it wasn't as satisfying as it was to begin. I think the beginning was really solid. And when it got to the halfway mark, I was like, this is pretty solid. And then it started to get like, all right, it's getting like
taper
a little bit long in the tooth. I don't know why. The ideas felt a little bit less fresh as it went on.
Interesting.
But it was good. I liked it. I liked it a lot. My favorite thing about it by far, was the prop design was so on point. Like it's like crazy. The monkey itself, I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. The monkey toy is so specific and you can tell where they put the screws in and they actually built that thing. I swear to God, that thing works. Somebody has that somewhere in their house and it works perfectly. Mm-hmm. And the amount of detail and the shots on that in various angles of it, that prop works for sure. And that really rooted me it made me feel rooted as an audience member into the story. It made me feel more immersed. Like I believed that prop existed. That's like that prop team kudos to them because I thought that thing looked awesome and it worked
Mm-hmm.
awesome. It looked amazing. It is really cool. But yeah, the comedy aspects of it I really like too. I don't know. You're right. It's a comedy for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a very gruesome, dark comedy.
Yeah,
it's cool. I like it.
I was laughing more than I was going like,
Right, but I don't think you go anymore. I think it's like if somebody like eats constant sriracha and they just start eating hot pepper juice all the time, as they call it, hot pepper juice. If you're just eating like, really, really hot peppers constantly, you eventually become used to it. You climatize your brain for it, and then you never, you know what I mean? I feel like that's you a little bit. You don't get the same high.
I still get terrified constantly. Like when I play, like that's the reason I like playing, horror games or watching horror movies, because it makes me feel a certain way, right? It makes me feel scared, and like typically I want to feel scared in a safe place where I know nothing bad's actually going to happen. I don't want to be scared in real life. So it kind of like, I don't know, it lets the juices start flowing, and I feel excited. So I mean, definitely, like I think like there was a time where I feel like I could not watch a horror movie and could not handle it. But once you get over that initial edge, you break through, you can find a lot of enjoyment in being scared.
Yeah, that's fair.
But like I don't think this movie's scary. Like I genuinely do not think this movie's scary whatsoever. And I'm not trying to be all hoity-toity elitist, but like I genuinely don't think this movie is scary. It is gruesome, it's violent, it's surprising, but I don't think there's any like, oh my goodness, this is terrifying sort of thing. It's not like Hereditary or...
It's interesting, Osgood Perkins is in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I've seen this guy. I've seen him in an interview. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, I know Osgood Perkins. I saw the actor in the movie, and I'm like, oh, this guy, I know him from somewhere. And I saw him in an interview talking about the movie. I'm like, I know this, but that's not the only place I saw him. I think I saw him a long time ago, not that long ago though, in Nope. He's also in Nope. I just didn't know that. I've only seen him as an actor, Osgood Perkins. I never realized. I never put the two and two together. I never connected him as being a director as well. But yeah,
I don't remember him in Nope. Nope is the Alien movie, right? Jordan Peele Alien movie.
Isn't that a spoiler?
No, it's literally in the trailer. It's the Alien.
Okay.
I thought that was the whole marketing thing, was that it's like, oh my God, there's Alien.
I mean, Nope is an acronym for Not of Planet Earth, so I guess.
Oh my goodness. I actually didn't know that. You just learned me something.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Maybe it's not a spoiler. I can't remember now what's in the trailer. Oh, you're right. No, the second trailer, there's definitely a distinct... I'm just super cautious about this. I don't know what was in the trailer. You're right. I think it's in the second trailer. But there's no spoilers. Otherwise, I'd have taken this out, and it would have bleeped it or something.
You would have been beep.
That's right. Okay, buddy. I think that's it for the monkey.
Cool. Do you want to put a rating on this so we can add it to our Rotten Potatoes website? RottenPotatoes.com.
Yes, let's do it.
RottenPotatoes.org. Sorry. That's our website. You can go there. You can visit it right now. It's there.
Yeah, don't go there just in case there's something bad there. We have no idea what's on that website. We've never typed that into the URL bar. Anyway, what's your rating there, bud?
I would give this movie a solid 3.5.
Oh, that's exactly what I'm giving it. That's weird.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I thought we were in a different standing on this. But yeah, 3.5.
Oh, no. Like, exactly I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. But yeah, like it's not perfect. I think it's a solid 3.5.
It's definitely the worst thing I watched this week in terms of movies by a bit of a margin, I think.
I think for me too, actually.
I think the next, definitely the best thing I watched this week was Conclave. I think that's the no-brainer. Which also didn't get very much in terms of love from the Oscars. They got lots of nominations. They just didn't win a lot. Yeah,
I don't know what my favorite movie of this past bye week has been. Maybe
I was just trying to catch up on a lot of things.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah, okay. Cool, man. 3.5. 3.5. That makes it a 7. 7 out of 10 on the potato meter.
That's 100%. It's 100% on Rotten Potatoes.
Again, we're not really doing that. We're just saying 7 potatoes.
RottenPotatoes.org.com.
.com, yeah.
/.
The more
Monkey.
ridiculous you make it, the more likely we'll be able to get the domain. But I'll rely on you for that. So
okay, sounds good.
All right, buddy. It's time now to move on to the montage, a sequence of our show in which I briefly present 7 of the bi-week's smaller news stories as Adrian delivers a brisk verdict.
Okay.
Number 1. As announced in Disney's recently released trailer, Star Wars Andor Season 2 officially begins on April 22nd. Its Disney Plus final season will feature 12 episodes.
Wow, I can't wait. Wow.
Number 2. As reported by Variety, Captain America Brave New World earned over $100 million domestically for its opening weekend, but declined a full 68% in viewership for its second weekend, with a relatively meager $28 million in box office sales for weekend number 2.
Disappointing, just like my feeling of this movie.
Number 3. As reported by publication Variety, the Bear actor Ayo Adebiri is set to write and star in the Barney movie from Studio A24, actor Daniel Kaluuya's production company 59%, and Barney rights holder Mattel.
I'm curious. Color me curious on this one.
Number 4. As revealed in a recent trailer, Challengers actor Zendaya has been cast as Shrek's daughter in Shrek 5.
I don't really care about this. Like, I don't care that she's been cast in it. I just don't really give a fuck about this. I'll watch it.
Number 5. As reported by Deadline, Scream actor Matthew Lillard has been cast in Marvel's Daredevil Born Again Season 2 on Disney+.
Oh my goodness, I wonder if it's going to be the same character, Stu. Will they connect the two universes?
I doubt that. Number 6. According to Deadline, an upcoming HBO comedy series starring Steve Carell has just cast Legion actor Lauren Tsai to play Carell's character's daughter. The half-hour comedy is set on a college campus and is produced and written by Ted Lasso and Shrinking producer Bill Lawrence.
Oh, I'm in.
Number 7. As Variety has confirmed, The Office star Oscar Nunez will reprise his role in an upcoming The Office follow-up TV series from The Office co-creator Greg Daniels. The new series, potentially called The Paper, will reportedly be about the same Dunder Mifflin documentary filmmakers filming a documentary about a dying newspaper office.
I guess we'll see where this goes. Hopefully it's good.
And that concludes the montage. Interesting. I just realized something.
What?
I didn't use this story, but there was something about Scream. Oh yeah, I didn't use this. I don't know why I didn't. I think I just accidentally maybe wrote a second one for the montage. It's another story that was interesting. I thought they hired the guy who plays Dewey, Arquette, in the new
David
Scream
Arquette.
movie. David Arquette's in the new Scream movie.
Oh.
Don't spoil anything, but that's weird. Oh, apparently Matthew Lillard's in that too.
Yeah, that much I know.
Okay. Weird.
Yeah.
It's very strange. I don't know what that means. I don't know. We'll see. I'm curious. Maybe that's why I didn't put it in, because it's a bit, we don't want to get too spoilery, but it's weird. It's strange stuff. But okay, man, it's now time to get on to the topic of the show for episode 105, a topic which concerns the Conan O'Brien hosted 97th Academy Awards ceremony. According to Nielsen ratings, the Oscars this year were watched by around 19.7 million people, which is about 1% increase in viewership over the year before, interestingly. So
I would have expected it would have been even more than 1%, just because I feel like Conan O'Brien has such gravitas. Like his, I don't know. You know that show where they eat hot wings? Hot ones? Hot wings ones?
Yes.
I think like Conan O'Brien's episode on hot wings like broke records. Like it was one of the...
He's wacky in that though, because it was clipped to hell, man. That's why.
Yeah,
like
I watched that episode. It's good.
Like you don't go back and watch the Oscars. You can go back and watch that Hot Ones episode many times because it's a live show, right?
Yeah. I
think that's the reason. But I will say... So before we get into, what I've done here, and I'm not going to like a giant spiel this time for the topic of the show. It varies. So what we're doing essentially, we've done the Oscars ballot in secret before the Oscars aired. So the Oscars ballot is, we chose the winners we predict would win in each of the categories, and we're going to present them. But before we present them, though, I did want to talk a little bit about. Did you watch the Oscars actually before we get into it?
I did, yes. I watched
Okay,
it.
cool. I just wanted to talk a little bit about what I thought of the Oscars as a ceremony before we get into the winners, perhaps. And you can throw your hat in the ring and talk about what you thought about it as well. But you watched it post the Oscars. You didn't watch it live, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I was doing stuff. So my fiance has like her mom has like the bell box or whatever. So she recorded it, and then we were just able to watch the recording.
Bell, a major telecom carrier in Canada.
They're annoying.
Name based on Alexander Graham Bell, the inventor of the telephone.
Is that true?
Yeah. I was doing my best Nick Offerman impression because Nick Offerman was one of my favorite parts of the Oscars. That's a segue right there, folks. But no, Nick Offerman was the announcer for all of anyone who won. He threw in like the little tidbits about, oh, this person's won multiple awards or got nominated multiple times. I thought Nick Offerman was amazing because he played off of Conan at some points, and he also called Amy Poehler.
Yeah, which I really liked. Yeah. That was funny just because they were co-stars in Parks and Recreation, obviously.
Yeah, weren't they also co-stars in like some kind of like carpentry show? Yeah,
he did. I think like, I don't know, maybe like a couple seasons where he was just doing woodworking and then she was there.
I really like Nick Offerman. I think he's great. I think he elevates everything he's in. That's my hot take here. I don't know how hot of a take it is because I'm sure you agree.
I do agree.
He's great. He's great in Fargo. I think he's great in that in season 2, I believe it is that he's in. I think he's obviously amazing in The Last of Us. I think he's the best part of Parks and Recreation, like overall, although that show's good in general, but he's also like one of the best parts of it. I think he's great in Civil War. I think, I don't know. I feel like it's whatever he's in, just name a thing. I think he's great. It's great. Oh, show I never watched that I definitely intend to watch.
Devs.
Correct. Good.
I've been meaning to watch that forever, dude. That's Alex Garland as well. Like, I don't know why I haven't watched it.
I know. It's
on Disney here.
I know.
Disney
I
Plus.
Yeah. I will do it eventually. Yeah. But yeah, it's cool. But yeah, his announcements were great. Anything from you? Let's go back and forth. Anything you stood out to you in this show?
Yeah, no, I agree. Like Nick Offerman was great. I love his narration. He doesn't do it every year, right? Like I was sitting there.
Oh no.
Yeah, okay. Like it's a different announcer.
No, I think Conan probably had something to do with him even doing it.
Okay, awesome.
I think he's ever done it before.
Oh, okay. Because he just has such a good voice. He just has. Well,
I noticed it right away. Like he doesn't do this kind of gig in general. He doesn't do like voiceover announcement work. Just generally, I don't think. I think they just got him because it would be funny. Because I think Offerman was on Conan's show quite a bit, and I think they just have a good relationship. So that's what I got from it. That's what I thought.
They love each other.
Sure, maybe.
Yeah. I do. Yeah, like I think Conan was a fantastic host. I really like him as a person. He's enjoyable to watch and listen to. Had a lot of really good jokes sprinkled throughout. Yeah. I saw a couple clips online, and I don't know if it was like blocked out in the Bell recording or whatever, because I saw the clip online where he's like, it's the halftime show, or it's like, oh, we're about halfway through the Oscars. Now it's about time for Kendrick Lamar to come out and call Drake a pedophile.
No, that was on it.
I didn't see it when I was watching the recording. I don't know. Maybe they cut it out. Like
it's halfway.
I don't know. But yeah, I watched it. I was like, because I saw that clip before I watched the Oscars. And I was like, oh, and then I didn't notice it when I watched the full thing. Maybe my eyes glazed over when it happened, but that was interesting. But he had a lot of really good jokes. The one like specific one that I really, really liked that I think was just so stupid was that's like in the UK they're known as kilometer.
I have that one.
Yeah, and kilometry. Yeah, so then he calls them Miles Teller and Miley Cyrus. Yeah, I thought that
in Europe they're known as kilometers and kilometry. Yeah. Miles Teller and Miley Cyrus, and then his face. Yeah. His face is just like, that's the stupidest joke I've ever told in my life. Yeah. That's what's great about Conan, though. He's very self-deprecating in like the greatest ways. So I don't know, it's awesome. Yeah, that was great. It's funny that you pointed that out. I literally have that here as joke of the night, in Europe, they're known as kilometers and kilometry. I'm like, wow. And that came up again. I thought about it. I'm like, what were the craziest jokes? What were the funniest jokes he told? And I was like, that one was ridiculous. They're also the one about Estonia. I thought that was really funny because he called back to it after he got back on stage again. Yeah. But I told my fiance Dawn this. I was like, this actually, I think my favorite joke is actually the in Europe you're known as kilometers and kilometry, Miles Teller and Miley Cyrus, and she's like, yeah, that's fine. I'm like, no, it's great. It's so stupid. And when you look at the look in his face, that's what really ties it all together. It was chef's kiss. I love that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love that. I was worried you were going to say that one because it's my main note here. And you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thunder. No, I like it. I like that we had the same idea. That's so stupid. Okay. Yeah. In terms of like how it entered, his entrance into frickin' from the substance is so unbelievable. It's so good. And his face was just so awesome. That part's so good too. I thought that the dance number is like it was stuck in my head a little bit. What was it now? It was like now it's not stuck in my head clearly because then I would have remembered it. But it was like, I am not going to waste your time or whatever. I'm not going to waste I can't remember that. I watched the dance number again and it was stuck in my head a little bit afterwards. And I was like, it's just so ridiculous. His face is so good. And the statues of him and the gold statues of Conan, like as an Oscar, I thought were really good too. But yeah. I will say one thing though. I think the show was largely worse than last year in terms of on a production level and the pacing. I think the pacing is actually worse. I don't think it's Conan's fault at all. I think I would have taken more Conan and less of the musical numbers. I don't think the musical numbers did it for me. I feel like it was really weird. You had like somebody singing a song from like an iconic movie in Skyfall, but it wasn't Adele. You had Ray. Yeah. Who the heck is Ray? But that happened throughout the best musical number is probably the Wicked musical number, I think. And then everything else got worse from there. Like if you think about last year, there was some like the Billie Eilish number was really good from Barbie. And then you also had I'm Just Ken. And I think that like that was one of the best musical numbers in Oscar history. I think it just was really done well. I just think that the pacing, there's a lot of these numbers that really slow down the pace pretty badly. And I don't think they pulled people out of and we're going to talk about that, I'm sure, later, but I don't think they pulled them out of their speeches enough. And they pulled people out of their speeches too early in some cases that didn't deserve it. And I think there was one particular person that shouldn't have spoken that long. And I get that it was a big award, but still it's ridiculous. And so that's kind of the thing. I felt like the pacing was worse. And I don't think I think if you're going to carve out time for a musical number, it really has to hit hard. Like you have to go in and you have to hit it hard. And I feel like Conan wasn't on stage enough for his bits. Oh, also the Adam Sandler bit was ridiculous. I like that one too. Anyway. Yeah,
the production design bit with Ben Stiller when he's reading that.
I have here best presenter, literally best presenter by far, Ben Stiller. That's amazing, but that's not what I'm talking about. Any of the presenters, that was fine. I'm more talking about like the spots that like stop the show. That's my issue with it. No, any of the presenters, they always move pretty fast and rapidly, but Ben Stiller is just killing it every time he hits. Anytime Ben Stiller does any bit at the Oscars, I feel like it just does well. I find like the last one I remember like distinctly was the Avatar one. He comes out with makeup on. Do you remember that one?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Full makeup, like he's fully an Avatar person, whatever those people are called. I think it was way back, but I think he was on stage for other ones after that. But I think that Ben Stiller was by far that was the best presenter, and the fact that he has to climb up on stage, it's excellent. It was excellent in every capacity. But yeah, another weird thing before we get into the awards. The Hulu ended the Oscars live stream before the final 3 awards. It was on Hulu in the United States. I just wanted to bring this up. We don't get that in Canada. I, again, found it very difficult to watch the Oscars. I must reiterate this a million times. Please just put it on a streaming service in Canada. I do not need cable. Why do I need cable? You have cable for some reason, Adrian. I don't know what happened to you.
I don't. It's my fiance's mom has cable.
Right.
And because we have the Fire Stick, we can log in to her Bell account and watch recordings.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, cool though. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I have cable.
I don't look. It's okay to have cable. It's okay to have cable. I'm not actually razzing on anyone that has cable. I'm not criticizing you if you have cable. My problem is I don't have cable. I never intend to get cable. They need to give me an option to watch the Oscars. I have one option to watch the Oscars, and it was an illegal stream. I don't want to get it illegally. Let me pay $15, $20. I will pay for it. Stop doing this. It's also Bell owns Crave. Just put it on Crave TV. It is not that complicated. So Bell owns the rights specifically in Canada for the Oscars. Every year it seems like CTV has them. You can't get CTV unless you have a cable subscription of some sort. If I had Rogers, I'd be able to log in. Rogers is another telecom carrier here. Anyway, it's just very frustrating. I found that very annoying. And then I also found it ridiculous that Hulu cut the stream off before the 3 top awards.
Crazy.
And there was no way for anyone to watch it at that point. For those who had Hulu in the United States, we don't have Hulu here. We have Disney Plus, which doesn't have Hulu. But anyway, that has the Hulu content, but it doesn't have live stuff. Anyway, please, CTV, Bell, please get your shit together. Crave is already bad. Just give me the live stuff, and then maybe I'll think it's not horrible. Anyway, but yeah, let's move to the awards, shall we? Unless you've got more to say. Anything else you would like to mention?
No.
Okay. We're going to go, I don't know if you've got the winners up on your screen. I'm going to go from the bottom of that winners page. I gave the link to the Hollywood Reporter.
Okay.
Winners.
Yeah, let's do that.
I'm just going to go to the very bottom if you want to follow along where I'm going.
Sure. I did little check marks on my Oscar ballot sheet.
Check marks to show that you did it?
Yeah.
I took a photo of mine. Here's my Oscar ballot, by the way. I did a photo of mine just to timestamp it, just in case you're going to call it. Oh, look at that! You're using a digital one. I already trust you less here. But anyway, I took a photo. I took a photo of mine to make sure that it was obvious. Yeah, because you didn't take a screenshot or anything. Did you take any evidence that you didn't just fill this out this afternoon? Let's make it look like, oh, I got one wrong. Look at me,
Simon. I got many wrong. Why would I make up that I got 13 out of the 23 awards right? That's
how many did you get right?
13 out of the 23.
Oh, well, that's a spoiler. We're supposed to be comparing them and then determining who won. You just gave away what you got. Now, I'm not going to say what I got. But anyway,
okay.
What kind of an anticlimactic. Do you know how to build a podcast here? Come on, we're trying to build a suspenseful show. I know somebody's watching this 2 hours in from Nova Scotia, at least. Okay,
Nova.
Adrian. Okay, so visual effects. The awards, the nominations for visual effects were Alien Romulus, Better Man, Dune Part 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and Wicked.
Yes.
What did you choose?
I chose Dune Part 2.
That's what I chose. Look at you. Look at you go.
Look at us.
Go. Look at us. Look at us.
I see you. I hear you clicking pens. You're filling in yours right now.
I'm actually not going. I was going to just mark down which one's won so I could mark down, but I don't need it because...
Well, I marked down both of mine.
My fiance did a sheet as well, and she highlighted it, which is nice. But yeah, Dune Part 2, of course, won, and it deserved it. I think it was obvious. But I think you would have wanted Alien Romulus to win, so I thought maybe you would have picked that, but you didn't.
I would have.
So good for you.
It's playing a tactical game here, Simon.
Oh,
that didn't seem to pan out.
Well, maybe it did. Maybe you won. You never know.
Maybe.
Okay. The nominations for sound. Mixing and editing now, because that as of a few years ago they combined those two awards, and the nominations are A Complete Unknown, which is that what's that? Oh my god,
Dylan. Bob Dylan.
Thank you so much. I names are escaping me today. I'm very tired. I think I'm not sure, but thank you. You trust-falled me, and I appreciate it. You catched me. Caught me. Trust. I don't know. Whatever. Point is. The next nominees are Emilia Perez, Dune Part 2, Wicked, and The Wild Robot. And the winner is Dune Part 2. Adrian, what did you pick?
Dune Part 2.
Dune Part 2.
Yes.
I don't even know where this is on my sheet. This isn't in order.
It's middle row.
I also picked Dune Part 2. Okay. So look at us. We're doing great. 2 for 2, Adrian.
2 for 2. We're neck and neck.
The next award was Production Design, and the nominees were The Brutalist, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. What did you pick, sir?
I picked Dune Part 2 again.
Good for you. Wicked won.
Yes.
Wicked was the winner for the best production design. I picked Wicked. Up we go.
How? How would you have guessed such a thing? You didn't even watch it.
I don't need to watch it. I did some research. I used my own knowledge. I combined various things together to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right. Interesting.
Don't judge me.
I'm judging.
Too difficult. Too hard. But
I'm judging.
My fiance was in the room when we did this, so she didn't see me scratching anything out. Okay. And I have a photo, so don't you dare call me a cheater.
I'm calling you a cheater right now. Cheater, pumpkin, cheater.
The next award is International Feature Film. This is not in the order, by the way, of how the Oscars was presented, but it is the order of this particular sheet. So we're going to go with that, what the Hollywood Reporters are presenting. But the best international film nominees were I'm Still Here from Brazil. The Girl with the Needle from Denmark. Amelia Perez from France. The Seed of the Sacred Fig from Germany. And Flow from Latvia. Adrian, what did you pick?
I picked Flow for this one.
Interesting. Super interesting choice.
Yeah.
The answer was, the winner was I'm Still Here. I thought it was either going to be I'm Still Here or Amelia Perez. I chose I'm Still Here.
So, what? That's crazy. I have a bone to pick with this award because it's like the best international feature film, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You have I'm Still Here on there. But Amelia Perez, we don't have to talk about Flow, but Amelia Perez was literally nominated for Best Picture.
Yes, so was I'm Still Here.
Oh, it was?
Sure was.
Okay, that's on me.
Flow was not. That's why I didn't choose Flow. But hey.
That's on me. Okay. Fair enough.
That would have been an issue had they chosen one of the ones that didn't win. Like if they, for instance, the girl with the needle one, then I'd be like, how does that happen? But you're right. I'm Still Here was nominated, and so was like for actress in a leading role. What was her name now? It is Fernanda Torres, and she was amazing apparently. So that's cool.
I don't believe it.
But anyways, so yeah. So international film, I'm Still Here. Won that. Next up, documentary short film, Adrian. And we got the nominees. Death by Numbers, I Am Ready Warden, Incident, Instruments of a Beating Heart, and The Only Girl in the Orchestra, which is the winner of this documentary short film award. Which one did you pick, sir?
I chose The Only Girl in the Orchestra.
Good for you. Really?
Yeah. There's a 1 in 5 chance that I got it right.
Is that what happened, or did you do any research?
That's what happened. I didn't do any research. I was just like,
I picked I Am Ready Warden. I did not get that. I got to be real. All of the categories of like movies that like most of the categories, pretty much any of the categories of the non like mainstream movies, I guess the more mainstream movies, I did not get for the most part. Spoiler alert. But yeah, anyway. Next category is documentary feature film, and the nominees are Black Box Diaries, No Other Land, Porcelain War, Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat, and Sugarcane. The winner is No Other Land, which I honestly should have picked. Honestly, after they got on stage and explained what their movie was, I'm like, why didn't I see that coming? I should have known this. And their speech was great, by the way. I thought their speech was amazing, and what their movie seems to be about is really cool. Like, it's a neat idea. It seems like from what I'm gathering, anyways, it's like we have Palestinians and Israelis making a movie together about the conflict, and I think that's really neat and nuanced. What'd you pick for the winner?
I picked Black Box Diaries because I had planes on the mind.
Oh, planes. Wow.
Yeah. Because don't planes have the black box in them?
Yeah.
When they crash?
Right. Why you got planes?
There's been a lot of plane stuff.
You're really making me worried. I'm getting on a plane in like 4 hours.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Not 4 hours, like 6 hours, but yeah. Okay. Okay.
What do you pick?
Cool. I picked Porcelain War. I did not get that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That would have been my last choice.
Whoa.
Porcelain?
Okay. Well, good for you, I guess.
That was a bad choice, man.
Thanks. All right. Next one is music, original song specifically. And the nominees are El Mal, The Journey, Like a Bird, Mi Camino, and Never Too Late. I should say where they're from. El Mal is from Amelia Perez. The Journey is from the 688. Like a Bird is from Sing Sing. Mi Camino is from Amelia Perez. And Never Too Late is from Elton John, Never Too Late. Adrian, what'd you pick?
I picked El Mal from Amelia Perez because I'm pretty sure it won the Golden Globe. So
very good choice because it won. It won in this case as well. And I also picked El Mal as well. And I kind of agree with that because I think that El Mal is the best song in Amelia Perez, to be honest. It's pretty great. And I think that Zoe Saldana is great in it. And that
so can we really quick talk about the people that took the award here?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Oh, my God. That was the most cringe thing I've seen. That was uncomfortable. They took the award. I'm like, it's fantastic. They won this award. Good for them, like stellar stuff. But then the woman that was on stage, started singing it. They started getting played off, and she started singing into the microphone.
Yeah,
about the award, and I was like, oh my god, like please. I wish they kind of just increased the volume of like being played off. That was brutal. That was a rough watch.
I wonder, like, is there like a lack of social understanding in that situation? Like, I don't understand. I would never do that. I kind of have this inkling in my own mind. I want to get out of the way as fast as possible. Like, I would want to, I've always thought about if I won an Oscar, I've always said this. My brother said, no, you can't do that. You have to thank everyone. I've always thought I would just do kind of what Billy Bob Thornton did when he won for Fargo. He's just like, there's a lot of things I could say right now, but a lot that would get me in trouble. So I'm just going to say thank you. And then he walks away. I'm like, that's amazing. I think that was a Golden Globe at the time for Fargo, the season 1. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know I would say much because I don't want to be a bother. I want the show to move on. I want people to enjoy it. That's more important to me than, because I know there's producers making these shows, and I also know there's an audience listening to it, and there's an audience out there listening to it. I don't think they care that much about what I have to say. But yeah, like when she started singing, I'm like, oh my God, this better not go on too long. And it went on too long.
Yeah, way too long.
It went on too long.
Like 2 seconds would have been too long.
I think 1 second. Yeah. And don't do that. Yeah. There's like a lack of like a social understanding of our social agreement in that situation. I feel like that's kind of what I felt like. Yeah. Like our public social, contract we have as humans.
It's brutal, man.
It was not ideal.
Brutalist.
But it was a good song, so congratulations to them. Next up, we both picked the same one, so we picked Al-Mel. Good for us. Next up, music, original score this time. The Brutalist. The winner is The Brutalist, but the specific nominees were The Brutalist, Conclave, Amelia Perez, Wicked, and The Wild Robot. I'm super curious what you chose here.
I picked The Wild Robot because I heard very good things about it.
Huh.
And that it had like a phenomenal score.
Look at that. I never found the composer for Conclave. His name is Volker Bertelmann, who won last year for, I believe that's true, for All Quiet on the Western Front, which is neat. And listening to Conclave, I literally thought that he might win, but then I did research and I picked The Brutalist. It's funny because I forgot that I picked The Brutalist, and I thought Conclave was going to win. I really did think it would win. And I was like, oh, and I picked it, and I didn't pick it. I looked at it after. I'm like, how could I pick that? The Brutalist have a great soundtrack, and I looked down and I'm like, oh, I picked The Brutalist anyway. So I did pick The Brutalist. But interesting. So why'd you say you picked The Wild Robot?
Just because I heard really good things about it.
Oh, the score. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't do any research, Simon. I just went into this. I was going off the cuff. I was going off what I heard.
Oh, okay. Sure.
From past.
Sounds good.
So.
Well, you did do research on the last one. You said you looked into the Golden Globe and you saw that the original song was Al-Mel. Best original song for Golden Globe.
Yeah, because I don't know. I guessed. Because I saw 2 Amelia Perez songs and I was like, I know one of them won. I was like, which one? So gotcha. I had to figure out that. Yeah. The
Brutalist, honestly, though, from what I've heard of the score, very good. I actually kind of want to watch The Brutalist more so because the score is really good. It's weird. I was in the shower yesterday or 2 days ago. And I had the song from The Brutalist. I was going through my brain, and I was like, the song they were showing at the Oscars and various other places, like the kind of like the little snippet from the movie. I was like that's a really awesome score from like a movie. I thought it was from a movie from like the 80s or like the 70s or something like that, like an old movie. And I was like, oh yeah. And then I thought about it longer, shower thoughts, and I'm like, no, that was The Brutalist. And I haven't even seen the movie. And I literally just heard that snippet a few times. And I literally remembered it. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense why I won, I guess. So good for them. Yeah. Good for Daniel Blumberg.
Yeah. Never mind.
What about him? What about it?
Nothing.
Huh? What are you going to say?
No, I don't want to say it. It's mean. I don't want to be mean.
Okay. That's fair. Well,
you want me to say it?
To him. Just say it. Do what you want. We
were watching this. My fiance was like, "Oh, is this guy from Nosferatu?"
Oh, that's mean. Yeah. He strikes me as like he could be like based on what he's wearing, he could be like the dude from like he's like the Ratatouille critic. He's like very black attire, very tall gentleman. He's very cartoon-esque in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nosferatu. That's a wow, that is mean, Adrian. That is mean. Okay. All right. But no, he's very talented and clearly Very skilled at what he does. Good for him. Good for him. Good for him. Anyway, next category is live action short film. The nominees were Alien, Anuja, I'm Not a Robot, The Last Ranger, and The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent. Adrian, what did you pick?
I picked The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent.
Good for you. I picked Anuja, and the answer was, the winner was, specifically, I Am Not a Robot.
It's crazy.
Yeah, seems to be about a CAPTCHA.
CAPTCHA?
From what I gathered.
Like where you're like logging into something and it's like CPF84. You got to type in the thing.
I'm not a robot. That's what that is, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was about, based on what I saw of the clip of it.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I chose The Man Who Could Not Remain Silent. It had the longest name.
Oh, so therefore it would win. Right. They put the most effort into the name?
Yes.
All right. I did research on these and I never got, again, I didn't get these categories of movies that people don't usually watch. I just didn't get any, except for maybe the foreign film, but people watch the foreign films more so than the documentaries. I feel like, well, maybe I'm biased just because I watch the fiction more often. You know, I don't know. Regardless of that, next category is makeup and hairstyling. The nominees were A Different Man, Emilia Perez, Nosferatu, The Substance, and Wicked. Your choice was?
The Substance.
Me too. We both got this one.
Yeah.
The Substance was the winner. That makes sense. I was tempted to do, I think, Nosferatu, potentially, because it was pretty intense.
Yeah.
But I didn't do it. I chose The Substance. But yeah. Okay. And the nominees for film editing are Anora, The Brutalist, Conclave, Emilia Perez, and Wicked.
I chose Anora here. Sean Baker.
Interestingly, I did not. I chose Conclave. I thought that's why I said before, the technical aspects of Conclave were so tight all the way through. I can see why Sean Baker won this. It's very interesting what he said on stage is that he made a funny joke about the director, he having to recover the film because he was editing it. The director,
he's like, I'm a bad director.
I don't know who directed this, but
it's like, essentially like I had to save this movie with the film editing because I didn't do a good job directing.
Yeah, it's interesting though. He said something about directing. He I think he edits all of his films, and there's something interesting about that concept. He says that he does a lot of his directing and editing, kind of something like that along those lines. A lot of that creative like aspect of how he makes movies is the editing aspect. And I gotta say, having edited what I've edited and filmed what I've filmed, not that much, but I've done some creative projects where I've filmed it and edited it. I can't imagine not editing it, but that's not very common for anyone to be editing it and directing the same movie. Plus, that movie's pretty big. I mean, it's not that big. The budget's not nearly as it's an independent film. It's not Dune Part 2, but still, it is kind of surprising that he still does it to this day because of all the other productions that don't do it. But I would say that if I was in his shoes, I would do the same thing. It's remarkable that there's not more like him. But it's pretty cool that he won that. But yeah, I did not pick that. I picked Conclave. So I was wrong. Okay. Next category is costume design. The nominees were A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Gladiator, Nosferatu, and Wicked.
I chose Nosferatu for this one.
I chose Wicked.
And you were right. And you were right.
That was correct. Wicked won for that one. And then we've got Best Cinematography. The nominees were The Brutalist, Dune Part 2, Greg Fraser, who won, I think, for Dune Part 1, if I recall correctly. Emilia Perez, Bal Guihom, Maria, Ed Lachman, Nosferatu, Jaron Blaschke. And The Brutalist, I didn't say it, but Lowell Crowley was the cinematographer.
Laugh Out Loud Crowley. That's his full name, actually.
Sure. Laugh Out Loud Crowley won, actually. He won for Best Cinematography for The Brutalist. What was your choice?
I chose Dune Part 2.
Interesting. I chose The Brutalist, I believe.
Look at you.
Right?
Look at you.
I sure did.
Look at you.
That movie seemed tight, and again, I did research, so it helped.
It seemed tight. It's 3.5 hours.
He's not in charge of the edit. He's in charge of the cinematography. I mean, it was tight in terms of the way it was shot. It was very specific. He did a great job. Right. The movie's runtime is not tight. That is correct. All right. Next category is animated short film. The nominees were Beautiful Men, In the shadow of the cypress, magic candies, wander to wonder, and yuck. And
I chose
the
Beautiful
winner
Men.
was In the Shadow of the Cypress. You chose, sorry, what? You chose
I chose Beautiful Men here.
Good for you. I didn't choose the winner. I know that for a fact. What did I choose? I don't remember. Animated short film.
Bottom right.
Bottom right. Animated. Here it is. Magic Candies is what I chose. Clearly not right. Clearly. Incorrect.
No.
This was a weird one, actually. The presentation of when they won this. Do you remember this? She was reading the thing off the phone, and then he took the phone and said, "You're not doing a good job." And he just took it and read it. Initially, he was insisting that she would read it because there's two winners. They both came up on stage to collect their Oscars, and they're going to do their speech. And initially, she was going to read it, and I think they were going back and forth, but then it just didn't. It didn't work out, I guess, for him. Yeah. I don't know. It seemed kind of rude on his part. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know. Regardless of that, that was a weird interaction. All right. The next category is animated feature film, Adrian, and the nominees were Flow, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, and The Wild Robot. What did you choose?
I chose Flow here, actually.
Good, because if you didn't choose that, I would be shocked because it was nominated for... Well, I guess it didn't have to coincide, I suppose, with Best International Film, but you did choose that for that too. I did choose Flow as well. So we both got that one. The Wild Robot, I was thinking it might be The Wild Robot. In fact, and I took a photo of it before the show started that's timestamped. I crossed out The Wild Robot and chose Flow before the show started.
Sure.
I took a photo.
Sure,
no cheating.
Yeah, definitely.
But The Wild Robot I thought might win because it's really well regarded. Inside Out 2 just seemed to be ignored. Not really that.
Yeah. I got to still watch that movie, man.
It's really good. It's excellent. But now I kind of want to watch Flow.
It's a cat. There's a cat in that movie.
Yeah. I know you love the first one. That's why I'm surprised you didn't see Inside Out 2.
I don't know. I was going to go watch it in theaters, and then timing never lined up, and then it was out of theaters, and then now it's on Disney Plus, and then for a while I didn't think I had Disney Plus, and now it's like I got to be in the mood to cry.
Right. That's fair.
Anyways, yeah.
I feel like it's not as much of a crier as the first one was.
Yeah, probably not.
Well, I watched it. I didn't cry as much. So depends on you, I suppose. But next category is the writing, in this case, original screenplay, and the nominees were Anora, The Brutalist, A Real Pain, September 5th, and The Substance. What did you choose, sir?
I chose Anora here as well.
Yes. Me too. And Anora won. For best writing original screenplay.
And to correct you there, Simon, it's September 5.
September 5, yeah, sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
They did say that when they were reading out the award, and it caught me so off guard. I was like, what?
September 5. Yeah.
That's what it is.
I don't know. It's I mean, it's only up for a best writing award. Am I right?
Yeah.
Grammar much? Just saying. Psst. Anyway. Writing adapted screenplay is the next category, and the nominees were A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Amelia Perez, Nickel Boys, and Sing Sing. What did you choose, sir?
I chose Conclave for this as well, actually.
Me too.
Yeah.
Look at that. I would completely agree with that because I think the writing is pretty darn incredible. So
I got to watch it.
Okay, and the next ones, now we're getting into the big awards, I feel like. No, that's not true. I completely don't agree with that, actually. The big awards according to the Oscars, but we're getting into the acting awards and then into the Best Picture, which is obviously the biggest award. But the Best Actress in a Supporting Role award, the nominees were Monica Barbero for A Complete Unknown, Ariana Grande for Wicked, Felicity Jones for The Brutalist, Isabella Rossellini for Conclave, and Zoe Saldana for Amelia Perez. What did you choose?
I chose Zoe Saldana from Amelia Perez.
A good choice. So did I, and she won for...
She did indeed.
Amelia Perez.
The only reason I chose her is because you talked about Amelia Perez, and you're like, Zoe Saldana was great. She was like the main character. She's like the best in that movie.
She was the main character. That's what I feel like she's at a serious advantage here because she literally has the most screen time of any actor in the movie. and she's in the category actress in a supporting role. How does that work? I don't really understand that, but she was really great, to be fair. So, honestly though, I feel like her speech, as much as she's packed a lot in there, she spoke very fast and she got through it really quickly, like in comparison to other people. I'll just say that. But the best speech of the night might go to the next category here, actor in a supporting role, and the nominees were Yura Borisov for Honora, Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, and Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice. What did you choose, sir?
I chose Yura Borisov for Honora.
You would be incorrect. But
I know.
I did choose Kieran Culkin because he's won almost every single award in every award show for his role in A Real Pain. Although I think Yura Borisov is incredible in Honora. I think he's like there's like some subtlety in his acting that's just so good, but I have to see A Real Pain to really give a actual comparison. I don't know. Yeah. It's hard to really compare. It's kind of subjective in a way. A lot of these categories are subjective, probably all of them, to be fair, but Yura Borisov is incredible. Yeah, but Kieran Culkin won, and his speech was pretty funny. I don't know. I thought it was pretty funny.
I do agree.
Yeah, it was cool that he gave a shout out to Jeremy Strong too, because I feel like they had a little bit of beef after Succession. Jeremy Strong is like the opposite actor to Kieran Culkin, I'm pretty sure. Like Kieran Culkin, I think, goes in and he knows the lines and he just kind of wings it. And Jeremy Strong like method acts for like, I feel like a year before he does a role. I'm not sure. It's probably an exaggeration, but he really does method act hard. And some people found that annoying on Succession. Mainly Brian Cox, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. He talked a lot of shit. Cox, I remember that.
Yeah, I think Brian Cox was like a try acting. Like, yeah, that was just kind of, I don't know if he said that as his line, but he kind of, I think, felt that way just based on what he said. And Kieran Culkin, I think, again, was in that kind of boat. I don't know if I don't think I told it on this podcast, but there's a story where Kieran Culkin like really stressed out Jesse Eisenberg, who's very meticulous. Jesse Eisenberg like directed and wrote A Real Pain. And when Kieran Culkin came on set for the first time, he started doing these improv things. Like the script said what he was supposed to do, like pretty specifically. And Jesse Eisenberg had like a whole map of what exactly he wanted in each scene. And Kieran Culkin just came in and he just did whatever he wanted. Apparently, I saw him talking about this on Smartless, the Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, Sean Hayes podcast. I thought it was pretty funny. And then eventually Jesse Eisenberg was so frustrated in the beginning, but then eventually just threw the script out, the extended script out the window, like his shot blocking and everything like that. And he's like, I guess I'm just not doing this. I guess I'm doing something else because this guy is just going to do whatever he wants. And then of course, Jesse Eisenberg didn't get many nominations, but Kieran Culkin did. So, yeah. But I think that movie is just excellent in general. So, I mean, I feel like it's a testament to Jesse Eisenberg's movie that, I think any best actor win is a kind of a testament to the director. I think. I don't know.
I think so. Definitely. Yeah. You are directing the actors.
That's actually, we talked about this on Captain America Brave New World. Yeah. I think that the reason why that movie's not great is because there was a lack of confidence in the writing and the directing. I think that like Anthony Mackie in any other Marvel movie didn't seem like a bad actor at all. But somehow you were saying, when we were talking about Captain America 4, you thought he's not a good actor. It's like in this movie, you said specifically, it's like, yeah, that kind of sucks because I've never seen him be a bad actor. So how did that happen? It's like, there was I made that joke about trust fall with you earlier, but I feel like there's just no trust fall. You can't fall back on anyone. I don't know. It's just a disappointing. It was a disappointing affair because it felt like, I don't know, the people were hung out to dry. Like there's just nobody really knew what they were doing. The cooks in the kitchen were just not really, they're all looking to each other like, are you gonna, Anthony Mackie, you've been in many of these. Are you gonna hold us up and make us great? And it's like, no, it's not how it's gonna work. Oh, actually I was gonna make a spoiler, so I can't say that. I was gonna say there's a specific scene in the movie that there's like a specific legacy type of scene in the movie that I felt like, oh, I think you know what I'm talking about because you were shaking your head. But if you've seen the movie, there's like this particular scene in it that I'm like, is this going to save our movie? Is this going to do it? This will do it, right? This is like a potential callback kind of situation. Maybe we'll be good now. I don't know.
The more time that's passed from that movie, and the more I think about it, the less I like it. And my disappointment is like slowly becoming just like rage. It's like
it's too bad. It's too bad.
Yeah.
It's this potential that's lost. But anyway. Okay. Next category. Next category is actress in a leading role. And I think I know who you picked, but we'll see. Actress in a leading role. The nominees are Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, Carla Sofia Gasson for Amelia Perez, Mikey Madison for Honora, who won said award, Demi Moore for The Substance, and Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here. Adrian, what'd you pick?
I picked Carla Sofia Gascon.
Did you actually?
No, I didn't. Oh, okay. I picked Mikey Madison, of course. She was phenomenal in Honora. I really loved her acceptance speech as well. She just seems like a very nice person. Like
every time the camera was on her, though, I will say she seemed pretty nervous to be there. I don't know why. Maybe because she was so maybe potentially favored to win. The actual favorite to win was Demi Moore, actually, according to many websites. And so I picked Demi Moore. I was wrong.
Whoa, interesting. I really want to watch The Substance. I really want to watch it. I know I would like it.
Yeah,
I
got to see The Substance to compare. I think to be fair, Mikey Madison's incredible in Honora. Mm-hmm. She's so good, but I wanted to win this competition here, so I that's why I did that. Is that the one I crossed? Yep, that's the second one I crossed out. I'm like I really want Mikey Madison to win, so I picked it, and I'm like, but everyone's saying it's Demi Moore. So I'm like, I guess I'll cross it out and pick it. So I picked Demi Moore. And also, I also picked Demi Moore because Demi Moore has been around the block for a long time. She's been doing this for a long time. And I don't think she's got I don't think she's got an Oscar. Not that I recall.
I have no idea.
So this is like Mikey Madison's first foray into this. And I imagine she'll be up for many more of these just based on her performance in Honora. So I thought like Leonardo DiCaprio being, people thought, I don't necessarily think, but people thought snubbed many years for the Academy Awards after many nominations and never winning, and then winning for
The Revenant.
The Revenant.
Where he's like,
right.
for about half a minute.
Is that a compliment or a...
It's good. Yeah, he was acting. He was good, just grunts.
He was good. I will say, though, he was kind of, I think he was beaten in that movie by Tom Hardy. I thought Tom Hardy was incredible.
Dude, I was thinking the same thing. Me and you, we're two peas in a Hardy.
Yeah, two peas in a Hardy, as they say. Classic phrase.
Yeah.
Classic phrase. Speaking of Tom Hardy, just really quick segue. Did you see the trailer for that, the action movie with, made by the Raid? Oh, I sent it to you.
Yeah, you sent it to me.
Sorry. Yeah, of course you saw it. Yeah, that looks really cool. We talked about
really
that. It's
good.
Funny. It's been 2 years since we did the podcast and we started it up again this year, but we talked about this movie from the Raid director. It's Gareth Evans, right?
Gareth Evans. Yeah. I always want to say Gareth Edwards because that's the Godzilla guy, right?
Yeah. Rogue One.
Yeah. Rogue One, quote unquote.
Right, because we think that it's Tony Gilroy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that looks really cool with Tom Hardy. I'm very curious to see how it pans out because the Raid and the Raid Redemption are very. Oh wait, is that the same movie? The Raid 2.
Yeah, it's the Raid Redemption is the first one, and then the Raid. I think it's literally just called the Raid 2.
Oh, okay. Anyway, they're both great. They're excellent action movies, so I'm very excited to see.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the Raid 2 and the Raid Redemption.
What's this movie called? Havoc? No.
Yes, it is.
Okay, thanks. Okay, sweet. So you got this. You're doing pretty well in this. I feel like you have 13.
Yeah. Maybe I miscounted. I can recount it.
Yeah, we should recount it at the end. Okay. The next one, the next award is actor in a leading role. The nominees are Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, Timothy Chalamet for A Complete Unknown, Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, Ralph Fiennes for Conclave, and Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. Adrian, your pick?
I chose Adrian Brody for The Brutalist.
And you would be correct. So did I. Mm-hmm. And man, what a speech.
Yeah, dude. It's interesting because it's the longest speech in Oscar history. It's like five and a half minutes. But
right.
They count from when his name is called to when he's like left the stage. So they count like how long it takes him to get to the stage and to start his speech and all of that. But yeah, goddamn, what a boring ass speech, man. God. Like, shut up, dude.
You know what it felt like to me, though? It felt like he wrote it on the... Like, he never wrote the speech. He never prepared it, even though he was likely to win. Like, he was the one that I think everyone thought would win. And he just didn't come there prepared at all. And he just was winging it. But he was winging it so darn slowly. Yeah. That it was just so boring. And then he literally got played off. And he said, I've done this before, go away. And he felt... To me, he just came off as pretentious.
Yeah, very much so.
I didn't like it. He came off a little bit arrogant. Like, I don't know. I didn't like it at all. That was the worst part of the Oscars, maybe.
Yeah,
it was. Maybe I'm not sure if it was worse than the singing for El Mal.
Oh no. Yeah, the singing was definitely worse. But I would argue this was brutalist.
Yeah, it was the brutalist moment. Yeah. No, it was bad. I don't know what he was thinking. I because it's silly. Like, and then he's thanking everyone, and then he tries to make it political. I don't even know what the statement was he was making.
I was very confused. I was like, what is the message here? Because I'm
not sure. I can't even remember what it was.
It reminded me of the ending of Captain Falcon and the Winter Man, where it's just like, just be better.
Right. By Captain Falcon and the Winter Man, you mean Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the TV show on Disney Plus. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just trying to clarify if we're saying it once on the podcast, we got to clarify that first time, and then we can butcher the
fair enough. Touche.
Episode every other time after that.
It felt like a political statement that meant nothing. It was just a statement.
Yeah, he felt like he had to make one.
I'm like, what are you talking about, dude?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It was strange.
Poor Cillian Murphy. He's just standing there for fucking 5.5 minutes, just blank stare in his eyes. I like Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He seems good.
Yeah.
All right. He's a good actor, that's for sure. Okay. Next award is directing. Best director. We've got nominated here.
We did this, didn't we? Oh wait,
Best
no,
director.
We didn't. Sorry, no. You're right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
He's won. This guy won so many times, you're getting confused.
Yeah.
We got best directing, which is one of the most prestigious awards. How would we have done it yet? But anyway, I don't remember. We got Jacques Audiard for Amelia Perez. We got Sean Baker for Honora, Brady Corbett for The Brutalist, Coralie Forget, I think it is, for The Substance.
Fargeet.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that's not right. And then James Mangold for A Complete Unknown. And the winner was Sean Baker. I'm going to guess you picked Sean Baker.
I did indeed, yeah.
That for sure makes sense. And I picked Sean Baker as well. I think that would, to me, was a no-brainer. I think Brady Corbett could have won potentially, but he did not. Although The Brutalist is very well regarded. It's excellent. But regardless of that, yes, Sean Baker won. And that was the moment actually I was going to mention. The one thing that was really cool, so he won a lot of awards, and he actually tied for the most wins by the end of it. Because I think it was Walt Disney that had the same number of wins in the same night, specifically, not in general, but in the same night. But the cool thing that he did during this speech specifically was that he talked about how the theater industry is suffering. And he called that out and talked about how the exhibitionist industry, like, it needs support, and people need to go to their independent theaters and go to movie theaters and watch movies in theaters and not just on streaming. And I thought it was neat because Quentin Tarantino presented him the award, and I know Tarantino's a big advocate for this, to the point where he even bought a theater, I'm pretty sure, in California. I'm fairly certain. And so, I mean, Quentin Tarantino is such an interesting fella. Like, he is making one more movie, but it's like, man, is that movie ever going to come out? You know?
Yeah.
I think he gave himself way too much pressure. I gotta say, like, he's claiming he wants to do 10 movies and that's it. And the reasoning was because you at a certain point, you're never going to get better. He wants every movie to get better than the last. That's just a silly thing. Isn't your passion to make movies? I don't understand that. You would think that you would just continue to make movies. It would just be fun for you and you would just continue doing it. That seems a little strange. And like, there's no guarantee that the next one's going to be his best movie. So what happens if it's not? Like, I don't know. Then you're going to make another one? I don't know. And then
I feel like he will.
Or
he's going to find a loophole and do like a mini series.
But I don't think he's even started the movie.
He was writing one, right?
He was. I think he started over or something. I think he's writing a movie about a movie critic.
That's what it was. And then I think he shelved that movie. He was like, I'm not going to do this.
Was that the one he shelved? He was going to do a Star Trek movie too. But that's right. There's too much pressure now. He created so much pressure for himself to make the brightest movie that's ever made. I don't know. I just make more movies, dude. You're a talented filmmaker, a skilled one. You're incredible. What? Like, I want to see more movies. from you.
Yeah.
It's 2019 was the last movie you made, the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which honestly, I don't know if this is a controversial take, but I think is my favorite movie from him.
I love that movie. Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah. And
It's
it was
excellent.
cool because Sean Baker also thanked Quentin Tarantino for introducing him to Mikey Madison, because that's where Sean Baker saw her the first time.
Right. Yeah. I think that might have been one of her first major roles. Or it's not major, but
yeah, she's a minor character in it. Because honestly, I forgot she was in that, and I was like, oh yeah, because like the first time I remember seeing her, and actually the only time I remembered seeing her was in Scream. Scream 6, 5, Scream 5, Scream 5.
You're the Scream encyclopedia. Don't ask me.
Yeah.
But okay, cool. Yeah, that was cool. It was a good speech. I liked how he left that. He didn't want to do it all at once, so he thanked the people he needed to in the like preceding speeches, and then did it after, which I appreciate because you're not going to take up everyone's time for 5.5 hours, Adrian Brody. Like, geez Louise, bro. I don't know. No one's going to remember you for a good speech there. They're just going to think of you as the guy who spent 2.5 hours on a speech. Anyway, whatever. And of course, the last category, the most important one of the night, of course, is Best Picture. And the nominees are Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Doom Part 2, Amelia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, and The Substance. And the winner was Anora. What? Oh, Wicked. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Yes, and Wicked, of course. I thought that was part of the last line there. But yeah, and Wicked. 10 nominees. And the winner was Anora. Actually, no, there's 8 nominees. Wait, how many nominees? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. Anyway, the winner was Anora. I picked Anora. I'm sure you did too. So.
No, I actually picked The Brutalist. I thought it was going to be The Brutalist. It's a 3.5 hour long movie. Everyone was talking about it. I assumed that it was going to be The Brutalist.
Why does that mean that it's going to win?
I don't know. It's a long ass movie.
Yeah, that was the first category I picked because it's literally in the top of our page here.
Yeah.
And I picked Anora instantly. I didn't have a second thought. I was like, The Brutalist could win, but honestly, thinking about the movies that won recently, like Coda as an example, and like thinking Everything Everywhere All at Once as an example, I feel like those movies, like, I don't know, The Brutalist is almost too much. It's almost too deep. It's too. They're kind of getting a little bit more laxed on this. They want to pull in audiences from everywhere in a weird way. Like, what's the greatest movie that, like, The Brutalist is almost not as accessible as it can be. I know Brady Corbett said, like the director of The Brutalist is like, oh, what does it matter how long a movie is? It doesn't matter. I can make the longest movie I want. It's like, that's
people
cool.
Watch Marvel movies. They're 3.5 hours and nobody bats an eye.
Yeah, but that's exciting though. Like, not that The Brutalist won't be exciting. I'm sure it'll be great, but like Killers of the Flower Moon didn't win last year either, and it shouldn't win because it to me is a good movie, but it's not like it's the sum of all of its parts that makes I think the movie a Best Picture, and so that's why.
Yeah, it was also interesting because apparently, I don't know if you heard this. I heard this after the fact, and I think I would have changed my opinion. But The Brutalist used AI. I don't know if you heard this.
What? No, I didn't.
Yeah. So
in what way,
apparently, what they used AI for, because Adrian Brody's character, it's like Laszlo Toth or whatever, and he's a Hungarian person. And there's a part in the movie where he talks in Hungarian, but Adrian Brody apparently refused to speak the lines in Hungarian because he didn't know how to say it properly. So they used AI to make him talk in Hungarian.
How many lines is it though? It doesn't matter.
It's very small. Apparently, it's like very brief.
That's okay. I don't care about that.
Yeah,
I don't think that would have made it lose. But
I feel like just knowing that though, just because I know like everyone's opinion on AI, and they even talked about it during this show, is very negative in the film industry. So I just assumed if I heard that, I would have been like, oh, okay, no. Because one thing, there's what's the movie that I really liked? It's a horror movie, Late Night with the Devil.
Yeah.
They apparently use AI in that movie as well. There's like a scene that plays like on the background of like on the TV, and it's like the skeleton dancing, and they apparently just used AI to make that and put that in the movie.
Well, that's a waste of time. Why?
Yeah, just get a real skeleton. Go to a cemetery, dig up a corpse, make the skeleton move. It's super easy, super simple.
Skeleton. It's a scene behind the characters.
Yeah, I guess you can.
All right. Well, how many did you get? Because I feel like you got way more than you said you did.
I counted 13. I recounted. It's 13.
Okay. Well, I got 17. So sorry for your loss. Yeah, it felt like you got a lot more than I figured.
I know. but I didn't.
I had to count mine twice because I couldn't believe it was 17 out of 23. That seems like that's very high.
That is high.
My fiance got 5. If you want to feel better about yourself.
Honestly, that actually makes me feel worse.
Why?
Just does.
Okay. But I like that she participated because she literally did no research, literally at all. She just checked them off, and she didn't see a lot of these movies, and she had no perspective on some of them at all. So I appreciate that she just did that for fun. That's pretty awesome. Good for her. Yeah, she kept track of them the whole time. She stayed and watched the whole Oscars. Usually she just bails. But yeah, that was the Oscars, Adrian. The Oscars 2025. I was entertained. I do feel like the pacing was off. I do think that they could do a better job. I think that the musical numbers, that, as I said before, could be better. But I thought that Conan O'Brien was great. I thought some of the presenters were great. I thought Nick Offerman was great. But yeah, that's my take.
That's very cool.
Sure. So cool.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, I Won't Waste Time. That was the name of the musical number.
Yeah.
I Won't Waste Time.
And he sang it multiple times. And the funniest part about that song is that he was wasting time, which is brilliant. That's a joke with layers right there, man.
There's a Dune worm. The Dune sandworm was playing piano. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
Even the In Memoriam, like they usually double up the In Memoriam and then use that as a musical number. But they didn't even do that. Instead, I feel like they added another musical number. Why not just do somebody playing the piano like you normally do? That to me is better than doing these extra musical numbers. I also thought the 007 thing, the best thing about the 007 thing was Margaret Qualley.
Mm-hmm. Qualley?
Yeah.
I think it's pronounced Qualley, actually. I feel like I heard that. But either way, I love Margaret Qualley. It's one of the reasons I want to watch The Substance. I freaking love Margaret Qualley.
Yeah. She's great. And she's a great dancer. And so.
She's phenomenal. She's a phenomenal actress. Like
that was the best part of
Leftovers,
that whole sequence.
Come on, man.
But then they just had a bunch of singers singing, and I thought Doja Cat was kind of a little bit pitchy. I don't know if you found that.
It's funny. Every time Doja Cat comes on, and I'm like, oh, it's this person, because I always think Doja Cat and Dua Lipa are the same people. And I realize every time I see them,
I've never confused them.
They're totally different. I think it's just the D at the start. Doja Dua, and for whatever reason it messes with my brain, and I'm like, oh, what the hell?
Who's that? So that's not Doja Cat.
Yeah,
right. I see. Cool. That's Dua Lipa. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it was okay. That was a really long segment of the show, but I felt like it didn't hit. Didn't you feel like that? Am I the only one?
I feel like it didn't hit either. I was kind of like, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. All right, cool. Okay.
Super cool.
Now on to a segment of our show that I like to call A Look to the Future.
What?
A portion of our podcast where each of us present our picks for the TV series or movies that look most interesting to us that are releasing between March 11th and March 24th, 2025. Adrian, I will throw this to you as is customary.
Okay, Simon.
What is your first pick for those dates? Film, TV.
I'm going to start with something a little unexpected.
Okay.
Something that I don't think you would think that I would pick.
Okay.
And what I'm going to pick is actually a live TV show that's coming out on Netflix.
Oh.
On March 12th. It is Everybody's Live with John Mulaney.
Cool.
And
really cool.
It's going to be a weekly live talk show starring John Mulaney.
Really neat.
I'm pretty excited about that. I really like John Mulaney as a comedian. I think he's a really funny guy. I like his delivery. I know he went through a lot of stuff, went to rehab and everything. His last special on Netflix, I didn't love. I can't even remember if I finished it. I feel like it was just kind of sad. It's like very dark because he's talking about like how his like intervention was like the craziest intervention ever because it's just a bunch of celebrities sitting him down. And he's like, and it was awesome because like everyone's there. And then I kept on sneaking away to do cocaine in the bathroom. I'm like, man, this is actually very sad. Like, it's not even funny. It's just sad.
I heard that story from other accounts. I think Seth Meyers told something similar, like on the show with John Mulaney as a guest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But so that's my first pick. Special.
That's cool. That's a great pick. That's a great pick. Didn't even think of that. I think it was just announced though, wasn't it? Just a couple days
within
ago?
the last like few weeks. I feel like
Like
I heard about it first
we didn't know. Actually, do we even know about it existing? I don't even know. I
knew about it a few
talk
weeks
shows,
back.
to be honest. I enjoy them quite a bit. I liked Conan's show. I loved Craig Ferguson's show back in the day. I still watch Jimmy Kimmel live. I watched Jon Stewart's show, like The Daily Show. I think he does a great job as well. Colbert, pretty cool. Yeah, so I watch these things on occasion. Plus, it gives me like the news is really depressing right now, so it's like a dose of the news with comedy interspersed, as opposed to just looking at the news and being depressed. So it helps, make the medicine go down, as they say.
Yeah, it is depressing.
So I'm curious about this. It's cool because it's weekly. Most of these late night shows are daily, other than John Oliver's show, which is probably my favorite one of them all. John Oliver's show is great. So also because he can just swear and do whatever he wants. I really like it's on HBO, so you can kind of get crazy. But yeah, that's cool. Are you going to watch it?
Yes.
John Mulaney's. Oh, cool. Sweet. Did it say how many episodes it was going to go? Is it going to go for the rest of the year? Or
I have no idea. It just says weekly. Like on the Netflix write-up, it says like a live show every Wednesday at 10 p.m. weekly.
The interesting thing about that is that like Jimmy Kimmel Live is not live. Like there's almost no live shows actually for talk shows, which is quite interesting. So the fact that they're doing another live show, because they've been doing live stuff, like Netflix has been doing live stuff with the fight with Mike Tyson as an example, and they've been doing live stuff with the WWE, I guess. And this is live as well, but it's funny because it's not like the rest of the industry, in which there really isn't a lot of live talk shows right now. They're not live. I think they used to be live years ago, and I think even Jimmy Kimmel Live used to be live, and that's why it was called that. But it's not live. So there's no live talk shows, I don't think, running, and I can think of that are really the major ones anyway. So it's kind of neat that they're doing it live. It's cool. But cool. All right, that's a good choice. My first choice. Yeah. My first choice is directed by Steven Soderbergh. Just got rated on Rotten Tomatoes as over a 90%, Adrian. And it's the movie Black Bag with Kate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender. Two spies. It looks like a very
Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Yeah.
Type situation. It comes out on March 14th.
Damn.
So that looks pretty cool. That kind of is a funny one because I was looking forward to that because I saw the trailer a month ago or something like that. And I was like, oh, this looks kind of neat. And then now that it's 90%, I'm intrigued.
I'll watch it with you.
Yeah. It might be something I'll see.
Yeah.
In theaters.
He just came out with a movie as well that I wanted to watch called, I think it's Presence.
A horror movie. Right.
Yeah.
That didn't come out yet though, did it?
It came out like a month ago, dude.
Oh, it did come out.
And it's
that one probably won't. I don't think that was like lesser. Probably would have to go to like the independent theaters for that because I don't think
it was at Cineplex for like less than a week, if I recall correctly. And I wanted to watch it, but it's a horror movie from the ghost's perspective. So you are literally in the ghost's like eyes, POV, watching this family like come to this house. It's cool that it does that. But yeah. I'm curious.
It's reviewed very well on Rotten Tomatoes, but not by fans, just by critics. Interestingly, Presence. It came out on January 24th.
Yeah. Interesting.
Okay, cool. What's your next pick?
My next pick is an interesting one, actually. It is The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie. And that is coming out on March 14th as well.
What?
It's starring Daffy Duck and Porky Pig.
Okay, it's an actual animated movie.
Yeah.
Are you excited about that? Are you a big Looney Tunes fan?
No, not particularly. I was when I was a kid, but I'm not really invested into it. But it's super interesting because they canceled that like kind of that live action like animated Acme versus Coyote movie that they wrote off. David Zaslav did.
That really annoyed me. That looked really good. Will Forte stars in that.
Wasn't it like John Cena as well? Like,
honestly, that really sucked because it's funny because I like the Looney Tunes and I actually do. We don't get enough of them. They're not like an overused property. They're barely in anything really. That like that in modern culture, I feel like.
Yeah.
So it's kind of shitty that got, especially because I like I almost said Peter Rabbit, the Who Framed Roger Rabbit style animated mix with live action. I think that's really cool. Or actually a good example of one that came out recently, the Chip and Dale movie with John Mulaney.
Oh man,
that is great. John Mulaney and Andy Samberg.
Yeah,
and like that. Though that movie's great. I don't know. I was really looking forward to that Looney Tunes movie, and that it was very disappointing that they decided not to do it. I don't get it. I feel like they would have made way more money than they would have on the write-off. I really think it would have been more popular than people think.
Yeah.
But maybe not. Maybe people always whine about this movie, but they wouldn't have actually watched it in theaters. I actually legitimately was looking forward to watching it in theaters. When I initially heard the concept for it, I thought it was really cool, and I was going to go see it. So unless it was maybe really badly screen tested, like it just played really bad.
By all accounts, it was very good. Like
that's what I thought.
Like everything you read online was very good. Like I remember because this was around the time of Batgirl being written off and everything like that, and I think people were kind of lukewarm on Batgirl. So like I don't think anyone was really upset about that truly. But I remember this Acme versus Coyote thing, and they were trying to, I think, sell it. Like someone was going to try to buy it. And I think no one wanted to pay whatever the amount was that Warner Brothers was trying to do it. So they were just like, fuck it, we'll write it off, which is absurd. Because I think it was completed. Stupid. Like it was done. Totally.
It flies in the face of art. That's the issue with it. It's like you're not really for it. This is where Warner Brothers hasn't been making, to me, honestly, on a film and TV perspective, they haven't really made that many bad movies. But we were talking about video games earlier. I feel like it flies in the face of art, because that actually Monolith was not making a Wonder Woman game initially. They were making a game that they were making their own IP, a new IP for Warner Brothers. They would have owned it. But then they just decided, you're not allowed to do this. And actually, I was disappointed. I forgot to mention this. Monolith is cool, but Monolith is cool because of the people and the talent, the skilled people who work there. A lot of the people who left after they said, no, we won't let you make your own IP. And then they started making the Wonder Woman game after that. That's actually what happened. So Monolith was actually potentially a Ship of Theseus situation. That's like not really what it was before. A lot of people were gone from that studio. But again, that flies in the face of art, because I feel like I have a feeling that Monolith game that they were making, that was the new IP, was probably good. And that's probably what happened with Coyote versus Acme. For some reason, they wanted the sure bet. And it's just not about, it's not about art. It's about the bottom line. It's about shareholders and growing your company every year, every quarter, every month.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's life.
Sad. Anyway, you just went, right? Yeah.
Yep.
You did the Looney Tunes. Okay. I'm going to choose on this one. I'm going to go with Electric State. That comes out March 14th. It is from the Russo brothers, Joe and Anthony Russo. It stars Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things and Chris Pratt from everything, including both Garfield and Super Mario Brothers, apparently.
I forgot about that Garfield movie.
Yeah,
Did you ever watch that Mario movie?
Mario? Yeah, Super Mario Brothers I watched.
Yeah, it was all right.
Not Garfield. Yeah. But Electric State looks interesting. I'm curious to see if it gets reviewed well, if it's going to be good. It's a Netflix movie. Curious about it. Seems like it's really high budget.
But we'll see.
You think it's going to be bad?
I think it's going to be bad.
Okay, interesting. The Russo brothers are interesting because they've released a few movies since they left the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but they're not amazing.
Yeah, their track record's fairly poor post MCU. Like, I don't think anything's rated very positively, unfortunately. But
yeah, although we did like The Gray Man, if I recall correctly, you liked it.
It was fun.
I definitely liked it.
Yeah,
it was fun. Yeah,
I'll
but
never forget that
yeah,
movie.
You're right. The track record.
I'll never forget that movie, but not the movie, the theater experience.
Yeah, the Mr. Stinky Feet. Yeah,
God.
It was good times. Good times.
God, that pissed me off. Cool. My final pick, Simon. I'm not really excited for this, but hey, it's coming. Disney's Snow White remake coming out on March 21st, 2025. I don't care about this. I never liked Snow White.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about the controversy. That has nothing to do with my opinion. I just don't care about Snow White. I don't think it's that great of a story. I didn't like the original animated movie. I still don't like the original animated movie. I don't care about this. It's because it's coming out.
All right.
It's coming out. What do you think about this movie? Are you excited? You going to watch Snow White? You going to watch Rachel Ziegler as Snow White with Gal Gadot as whatever, Maleficent?
I got to be real with you. I don't know if I care about the live action situations. That's my issue. I don't have an issue with this. Snow White's one of my favorite Disney movies. My favorite Disney movie of all time, Beauty and the Beast. Didn't see the live action.
Interesting.
I haven't seen it.
I watched the live action Beauty and the Beast. I think I went with my mom.
Yeah, never watched it. And yet, Beauty and the Beast, my favorite Disney movie. So that should tell you whether I'm going to see this or not. I might see it because I think Snow White maybe is my second favorite. It's the first movie I ever watched, I think, is it like from the Disney canon as a kid. Or like one of the first ones. I loved Aladdin as a kid. Like I watched it many times, but Snow White scared me because of the beginning of Snow White. There's a moment with the woods, like she's running through the woods in the nighttime. Yeah. And it's just very terrifying. And as a kid, it's a core memory for me now. I always think back to that. It's like, that's my first horror experience in a movie as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like
that's why you don't like horror.
Maybe. Another thing that scared me a little bit is Dumbo. You ever watch Dumbo?
Yeah, I loved that. I loved Dumbo as a kid. I watched the shit out of Dumbo.
Right, but there's that scene where somehow the alcohol is hallucinogenic. That also got me a little bit. I was scared. Yeah. That scared me. I don't know why as a kid. The elephants were scary. They're like the multicolored elephants, and they're like, that was another scene that really scared me as a kid as well.
Yeah.
So
I didn't watch that live action remake either. I forgot they even made one.
That was a good one though, because it's Tim Burton, isn't it?
Do you watch it? I don't really love Tim Burton movies. Again, I think I've talked about this. Like, okay. I like some of his movies, but like everyone's like, oh my God, Tim Burton, he's the greatest. I'm like, he's pretty good. Like, yeah. I like some of his stuff. I don't like a lot of his stuff.
Right.
So, but yeah, I never watched it. Did you watch the Wednesday. Aladdin live, like by Man Richard? The Aladdin live action movie?
I didn't know. I haven't seen any of them except for Lion King.
No.
I think Lion King's the only one I've seen.
Yeah, I watched Lion King too. Not the new.
I don't know. I don't know what doesn't appeal to me. Honestly, though, I got to be real. Like Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, to me, they're really well cast. I believe that sincerely. There's also like this uproar about the dwarves not being dwarves or whatever.
I just recently heard about that. Which is fair, I guess.
There is also this idea. No, I'm talking about they didn't believe that they were going to be dwarves. Like there was a picture on set apparently that was floating around that they were just regular people that weren't actually, they didn't use any CG or they didn't use any costumes or production to make them look like they were the 7 dwarves. They were just regular tall people.
Oh.
And then there was the other thing where people were saying that this is like, you shouldn't cast like this because there's missed opportunities in the industry because you're not casting people of that stature.
Yeah. For that I actually don't know what the politically correct term, like, is it?
I don't remember. So I just said people of that stature. So to make it, I think that's politically correct because it's not really the name of it.
If you are of that height and an adult, can you write in for the correct term for us to call you? Please and thank you.
Call you on the phone. We're going to call you during the show.
Yeah.
But no. I mean no disrespect, but that was an issue. That was a claim. There was both claims though. Did you remember that there was a set photo floating around, and just like it was Rachel Zegler in a field, and there was a bunch of like regular adult human beings just like standing there. They were all like her height.
No, and people were like, that.
"Oh, they can't even do dwarves. It's DEI. It's woke." That's what they were saying. It's like I don't even think that's true, and Disney never even answered. He never answered.
So it's woke because they are not dwarves?
Yeah.
They're regular people?
Yeah.
Isn't that reverse DEI?
I don't know. No. They weren't. You know what I'm saying? They're in the movie. They were going to be in the movie as regular full-size adults.
Yeah.
I guess it would have been reverse DEI. Yeah, I don't know. They were saying it was woke in some way. I don't know, man. Because they're saying you can't do dwarves in a movie because it's disrespectful. I don't know. There was some bullshit, but it went around. That was the main thing. And then there's obviously Rachel Zegler's not like a white person, I guess, so that bothered people. But like to me, she looks like she's a perfect choice to me. She looks like the animated character for me. I think this is really a good choice.
Yeah,
but I know I thought that, and she's got a great singing voice as well.
So. She does have a really good singing voice. She was great in the West Side Story.
Correct.
I saw her in West Side Story.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm excited for this in that I want it to do well because I like the Snow White. I like the Snow White story, and I want it to be reviewed well because these movies don't get reviewed well very often.
They always do well, though.
They always do well, which is good. Yeah. That's why they keep making them. That's why they keep naming them. But Snow White's one of the most classic Marvel movies, Disney movies of all time. Yeah,
she's a superhero.
Yeah, we're gonna see Snow White in the next Avengers.
Yeah,
she's gonna be in Secret Wars. It's gonna be exciting. Yeah.
I already mentioned this before, though. I am excited for the Lilo and Stitch live action movie. I'm gonna watch the shit out of that.
Oh, okay, good for you.
Yeah,
I'll come with you if you want, or you can just go on a date night and abandon me again.
Oh my god!
But bring it back, baby. Bring it back.
Bring it back. Watch out.
Okay. The last thing that I'll bring up here is Novocaine. Novocaine comes out March 14th. It stars Jack Quaid. He can't feel pain. Adrian. Jack Quaid can't feel pain. He gets shot and stabbed and burned and blah 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 blah. And it somehow makes him invincible, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me because I feel like I think he would just lose all his blood and die in the first 20 minutes of the movie. But hey, is this movie going to be good? I don't actually think it will. I'm not sure it will, but it doesn't look bad. Jack Quaid, I do like Jack Quaid. I think he does a great job. But
it's crazy though, because like I think they think it's going to do well because they literally did a Super Bowl TV spot for this movie.
Crazy,
it's nuts, dude.
Yeah. They didn't even do one for Snow White.
No.
Yeah.
No, they didn't. But yeah, I'm surprised that you didn't choose Alto Nights. That was also on my list, but I was saving that for you. Robert De Niro, where he's two Robert De Niros.
Oh, why were you saving that for me?
I don't know. I just assumed because you like Robert De Niro. I assumed that you would have said that. That's on March 21st.
I do like Robert De Niro, but you know what? I didn't see this. I don't know why. The lists I was looking at didn't come up with Alto Nights, and it didn't come up. Honestly, one of the ones you said. What did you say now?
I don't remember.
You don't remember any of the ones you picked?
No, I deleted them.
Why? Why would you delete them?
I don't know. Just because I try to keep my phone crystal clean.
When is Alto Nights coming out?
21st.
The frick? Why didn't it come up?
I don't know, Simon. I don't know.
How
do you look at deleted photos?
I probably would have picked that instead of Novocaine, honestly.
You this out.
I think one of us had to pick Electric State though, because that's going to be one of the biggest like blockbuster movies.
Oh, I chose the Looney Tunes movie and the John Mulaney show. Those are the other two.
No, it was the last one. Snow White. Yeah, I know Snow White. I didn't see either.
That's crazy.
The list I'm using is flawed. I need to look at a better list.
Yeah, I just looked at Cineplex coming soon, and then I opened the Netflix app and I hit coming soon.
Yeah, March 21st. Yeah, it does look interesting. Where he plays two different people.
Yeah, he's I'm Robert De Niro 1, and then the other one's like, I'm Robert De Niro 2.
The weird thing is they're not brothers or anything. I don't think they're related. They're just two different mobsters who are unrelated. Yeah. It's just the strangest part of it, which is actually more interesting because we've seen this many times. Like if we looked at like there's that Tom Hardy movie where he plays two brothers, like twins.
Yeah, I never watched that, but I know what you're talking about. Either.
But this is different than that. I hope it's reviewed well, Alto Nights.
I hope it's not.
Why?
I don't know. Just cause. Why the hell not?
Because it's better to have better things.
It's true. I agree. But I just hope this one specific movie does poorly. I just hope it does.
Okay. All right. Well, the last Robert De Niro thing was that Robert De Niro show, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago.
Which I thought was this movie. I thought these were the same thing. I thought that Robert De Niro show was this movie. And then I realized that these are two separate things. I think I even brought it up when we were talking about it.
I'm trying to find the name of No, I'm talking about the Netflix talking about
show.
The same thing. The Netflix show is about he's like he used to be the president of the United States.
Yeah, I didn't know what the premise was of that show. I saw the name and I saw Robert De Niro and I'm like, oh, it's the Robert De Niro being two Robert De Niro movie.
It's doing really well though.
That critically?
That show's doing well, not critically though. Mm. It's doing. I think it's selling well. Like people are watching it. I think it's on Netflix. I can't find the name of it though. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, you know what show is crazy? Just before we wrap this up, Paradise. No. People are really loving Paradise.
Oh yeah, I kept on seeing the ads with it, where it's like, I'm going to tell you the secrets. I'm the president. I'm going to tell you the secrets that nobody ever did.
Right. Is that what it is? I don't think I've seen anything except for the actors are really good. Sterling K. Brown and James Marsden. So that looks really cool because those actors are great. But I don't really have any perspective other than it looks like it's about the White House. It's like, okay.
Yeah. I kept on seeing the trailer. I forget what I was
really
watching.
Freaking out about the penultimate episode. Like the second last episode, I'm pretty sure they were really freaking out about. Like they're like, wow, this is the craziest episode of TV I've ever watched. You haven't heard that?
No,
social media and stuff. Oh,
I haven't heard that. No.
okay.
Yeah.
I was almost tempted to watch it because people were freaking out about how good it was.
Should we watch it? You want to watch it together?
How are we gonna watch it together?
Does Disney do the watch party stuff that Amazon does?
Yeah, I think they do. Yeah,
we can do that.
No, I don't think. Do you really want to do that? That's the show you want to do it with? Do it for?
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the name of that. Oh, 0 Day. There, I found it. There. Now I've brought this show full
I'm glad that you figured that out.
Anyway, 0 Day is the name of the Robert De Niro TV show on Netflix.
Took you 0 days to figure that out.
That's true.
Yeah.
Wow. Very clever of you. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you, dude.
Okay. Well, that has been episode 105, Adrian. Do you have anything else to say to the audience before we wrap this guy up? I think this is all done.
No, other than I hate you and I don't want to hear from you.
Are you talking about the audience or Simon?
Yeah, no, the audience. The audience. I love you, dude. I love chatting with you.
Okay, good.
I love spending time with you and talking. The audience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good.
What about you? Anything else you got to say?
No, I've said a lot. I don't have anything else to say. I just would like to say that I won this ballot, the Oscars ballot, for the second time we've done this. We did this once before, if you remember, and I won it that time too.
Yeah,
I thought you would win this time. I thought I gave you extra time. You didn't even watch it live. You had time to make the ballot. Thought you would.
I made the ballot, but prior to the Oscars, Aaron. I wasn't gonna do it. I'm not a cheater, pumpkin cheater.
Right. Yeah. To be honest, I don't think you could do much better than 17 out of 23. I'm surprised I did that well.
No, you literally can, Simon. There's 18 out of 23. There's 19 out of 23.
Yeah.
Goes up to 23 out of 23.
It's
so
true.
you can quite literally do better. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. 13 is not bad though. I feel like if we used BetMGM or whatever these stupid betting sites, I bet we would have made money with 13 out of 23. What do you think?
This is my 13th reason.
13? What?
Yeah, I got 13 out of 23. This is my 13th reason. Lining it up.
What?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm not. We're good.
Wait, is that a reference to the TV show about suicide?
Yeah,
Jesus Christ. Should I put you on a watch?
Like an Apple
I like
Watch?
how you clawed it back without really explaining it. You're already like, you know what, that was a bit too far. I don't know if this is really a good topic. We're going to have to put like a suicide, like a get help warning at the beginning of this podcast. If you have had any thoughts like this, you should call this number, 1-800,
It's 1-866-433-5778.
Is that true?
No, that's the number for Geek Squad.
Best Buy's Geek Squad?
Yeah, Best Buy's Geek Squad.
That would be very helpful. Thank you for clarifying, though, because what if somebody was in dire straits? They're on this, listening to this podcast. You know what? This is really depressing. This is a depressing podcast. I got to call this number right now. And then they call Geek Squad.
Then they definitely would kill themselves dealing with fucking Geek Squad. Jesus Christ.
You're signing their death warrant.
Yeah.
Just stuck on the phone for...
I was dealing with Geek Squad, actually. This is why it's fresh in my mind. I've been dealing with Geek Squad because I'm sending in some routers, and then I'm sending in my DualSense Edge. It's the vibration and the triggers not working properly, and the analog.
DualSense Edge. That's unfortunate. Wow, it's two problems? Well,
yeah, so I'm sending that in my old routers.
Okay. Are you going to get the Midnight Black DualSense Edge?
I am going to get it.
Good man. It looks sweet. It does look sweet.
Fresh. Looks fresh.
Yeah. Fresh. Just newly released. That's cool.
Yeah.
You going to get new routers?
No.
Oh, okay.
I got the Bell Giga Hub, which is giving me so many issues with my PS5, man. Driving me insane.
That's why I'm asking you about the routers.
I almost want to get a new router, but it's my PS5. I'm worried because we're going to play It Takes Two together.
Yeah. We're playing Split Fiction. But
whatever. Yeah, that one. We did play It Takes Two together. So we're going to play Split Fiction, which is getting phenomenal reviews. But I was trying to download it today because we were texting because it's $2 cheaper to buy it physically, which is fucking stupid. But I bought it digitally because you get points back, and technically it's $1 cheaper because of the points you get back regardless. But I was downloading on my PS5, and it kept on starting to download and then stopping, and my PS5 would disconnect. And then I had to reboot my modem, reboot my PS5, and it's just constant cutting in and out. And I'm very worried if we're playing it, I'm going to be cutting in and out. And if that happens, I'm going to bring my PS5 up here into this office. I'm going to connect it to this monitor and hardwire it into this fucking router. And we're going to play that goddamn game together.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Split Fiction looks really good. It Takes Two is really great as well. It Takes Two and Split Fiction, both famously, they're co-op games. You have to play them co-op. But they're also famously made by a man named Joseph Fares with his studio Hazelight. And Joseph Fares was at an award show at the Video Game Awards, and he not recently, but he did say something very specific at this award show. Adrian, what did he say?
Fuck the Oscars!
Thank you for listening to episode 105 of Split Focus, a film and TV podcast. My name is Simon Eady, and this is Adrian Pinter, signing off.
Take care and goodbye.
Goodbye.